Okay, it's the Wheels Blues Podcast, episode 11, May 1st. And today, joining me as per usual is...
At Tin Can Blues. I'm here for episode 11. Let's get this thing on the road. I can't wait. Let's go.
At Eric _83, got the Whitney. Ready to hit it.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
At Squeed, SKW and been a beautiful day and a good week, so let's do this.
Let's do this, boys. So what the fuck's been going on?
Lockdown,
man. Fucking quarantine. Still.
Fuck,
so
dude.
much lockdown.
Is anybody as busy as we are these days? Like, I mean, holy fuck. Give me a
I'm
second
pretty
to sit
busy.
down.
Yeah, well, I feel like you and Sid are really busy, Tyson.
Well, I'm back to running a project. I had 4 guys and 2 crews on site that I was managing. Did a walkthrough with like the owners and stuff today, so everyone's happy at least. But like, yeah, I'm kind of back in full gear.
Jesus.
Got a taping crew coming in from the city next week, and bam.
Well,
and I imagine as soon as everybody knows your ribs are better, Daniels, you'll be back at it too.
Well, yeah. I mean, I really want to. It just seems that right now, it's kind of just financially better. With Katie, this sounds bad, but it's like Katie's getting like my wage plus tips.
Mm-hmm.
So if I went back and Katie left, we would be minusing the tip money out of the income.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, but you're only doing the one income right now, aren't you? Or are you getting?
Well, I got EI
payments. Yeah, and also if you switch out now, it might be hard for Katie to get EI because she's willingly leaving a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're kind of in a situation that's the way it's working is just best for all parties involved.
Yeah, and I mean it sucks because I want I do miss like everything about it, obviously, like, being at work and seeing everybody, like, I miss a lot of those people because I haven't seen them, and fuck, I haven't seen them since March, the day of March 18th.
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, can you guys fucking believe it's May 1st already?
I can't believe it. I mean,
it's fucking crazy.
I don't even remember when the town stopped functioning. I don't remember what day.
End of March, I think.
Was I think it was like early March? Was it the middle of March?
Yeah, it might have been.
it was like the middle end of.
Yeah, it was the end because that's when I ordered my RE2 board game, and it just got here now.
That thing looks awesome.
It does look fun.
Have you cracked that baby open yet? Like read the instructions?
Yeah, I took that. Oh man, it's like a tabletop game, right? So there's like up to 4 players cooperatively or make it through the scenarios of Resident Evil 2. So like basically, okay, you get to the RPD and you've got to get to the stars room is your first goal. So you're like rolling dice, moving player characters. You get like 4 moves per player per turn, and you got to kind of meet up. But like you run into zombies, and you got to roll dice, figure out how you're going to deal with the zombies and whatnot. And yeah, it's going to be fun. It takes like anywhere from like 1 to 2 hours to complete a campaign. So it should be nice. Sweet. Good tabletop game. I haven't played a tabletop game since we had a comic book shop in town.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I have The Office.
That was a cool place.
Game. Yeah. It was kind of fun.
The Office.
What do you do in the Office game?
Yeah, it was pretty much like you just answer a question. You move around a board. Actually, the whole point of the game was you had to be the person wearing the support, the rabid fucking wristband, which I loved, and I just started wearing it out because support the rabid, right? And then it broke, rendering the game fucking useless. But
couldn't you just tape it together or like?
Oh, it's long gone.
Oh, okay.
Long gone.
All right.
I would love to play this Resident Evil 2 board game.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty pumped. Shannon and I are going to do a test run. It's supposed to rain on Sunday, so we're going to do a test run of it on Sunday.
When this is all over, man, we got to all get together. We'll do Pandemic. We'll do this board game. We'll have a day, man.
Yeah, man. We'll all hang out outside and be around outside.
Yeah, man, well, we can play the board game.
The fuck outside? I want to go outside so I can go back inside to somebody's house.
Yeah, somebody else's house.
Yeah. Fair point.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Here's to the Pink Whitney.
Sid, do you want to get a picture for the gram?
No.
Okay.
Wow. I think you should.
Yeah, that's cool.
You're a dick.
Tyson, what did you get up to this week?
This week, I worked one day, and Inga worked a couple of days. So I was home with the boy for a few days. We just had some Bruce and Daddy days, which was pretty rad. And, played Ninja Turtles and watched some Ninja Turtles and that kind of thing.
You're looking tan, man. Have you been outside a lot?
I've been outside a little bit. I've been outside a little bit. It might just be like the hue of the light.
Yeah.
Also, I did get a wicked sunburn whatever day that was. It was really nice last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty good, man. It's pretty nice actually to be home with the boy all the time. Because I see him every day instead of like normally you would only, I'd get home from work at 5, pick him up from pick him up from daycare around that time, and then you'd see him for 3 hours before he goes to bed every day. And you really only have the Saturday and Sunday where you see him all day, and then he's back to the grind. Like, he's only 4 years old. He's already like, Monday to Friday, and like,
oh man,
everything. I kind of feel bad because sometimes he's like, he's after a little while he could have like a grumpy time, and then I just kind of got to remember like, fuck, he's had a long week too. He hasn't been home. He's only been home. He only gets like 3 hours to himself every day after daycare, right? And poor little bugger. So yeah, it's been nice to have him home.
It has been nice, the extra time spending with Tom.
Yeah.
And mucking
around. What have you and Tommy been up to this week?
Just the couple days this week that it was nice. We were just goofing off outside. It's mainly just me wanting him to like be running around.
Yeah.
So that he's not just becoming a couch potato. And,
and he actually.
Of course, there are times for that. Oh, fuck it, dude. His sleeping it's ridiculous.
Really, Bruce is like he's flick nocturnal, just like me. Like how I go with no structure, and I switch to staying up late and getting up late, and I don't go to bed till late. So we put him to bed at 8. He won't go to sleep till 10:30. He'll just still be in there like barely reading books and stuff.
Yeah, Tommy does that too. Yeah.
And then one day I got up at like 10, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And he went out of the room, and I'm like, I opened his door, and I'm like, "Okay, he's breathing." And I closed his door and just like went to the living room. I'm like, "What the fuck is going on? It's 10 o'clock. Like, what's he doing sleeping?" Anyway. Yeah, the next day was rough trying to get him to go to sleep. That's for sure.
Yeah, Tom's pretty staunch about his sleep. Like once he gets in there, he does the exact same thing. There are times where, it's 8 o'clock, he's in bed, and then at like you say at 10 o'clock, you can still hear him like singing, putting on a fucking show. So, but when he does sleep, it's like a hungover teenager.
And what have you been up to this week, Sid?
Work, man. Back to, trying to get stuff done. Should get a full swing, at least for the week or two. I don't know really what's going on, just because everything else is kind of on hold. But I had a crew of 4 guys and just kind of pounding shit out, getting it done, waiting for the next stage to come.
That's good.
Crew of 4 guys pounding shit out, man.
We were talking about facial cleansers and exfoliants today. Mask peels and stuff.
I bet they were.
I literally broke down laughing, going, "Okay, we're just 4 dudes sitting around on a job site talking about like cleaning our faces." When you work construction, you're sweaty. You get dirt and metal shards, sawdust, fucking all sorts of nasty stuff in your skin.
Yeah.
It's good to clean that shit out every once in a while.
I thought you were.
You end up looking like this.
There was a time in your life when you would have just rubbed that shit in and called it good.
Yeah, and look at me now. I regret it.
Well, all your hair did fall out. So.
Oh yeah, hair, teeth, eyes.
Man, having metal shards in your face, that can't be good for you, man.
Oh man, no, my ex-girlfriend was a steel fabricator, and she came home one day and she had a splinter of steel in her eye, and she's like, it's in there, I can see it. She's in the mirror and I can see this piece of metal sticking out of her eyeball.
Holy fuck.
And she's just like, tweezers, pulls it out. Oh, that's better. And I was, Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Keep it down, Wheels.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
That was gross.
But it's, I don't know, it's par for the course. Like when I cut part of my fingertip off with the table saw, I was like, damn it, it's the last cut. I'm sitting there trying not to bleed all over the sidewalk at work while I'm like, I should wrap up these tools. I don't want to have to come back here after, But like it was really bleeding, so I was like, fuck, I guess I have to come back. It's Friday, it's 4:30. I don't want to go back to work after going to the hospital. It's just like,
didn't you tell someone, hey, I don't know if you noticed, I'm shooting blood.
Part of my
I work by
finger's
myself.
Can you
gone.
clean this shit up while I go?
I work by myself a lot.
Oh, okay, all right.
And it's just, I don't know, man. Like you get hurt at work, you just kind of carry on. You don't even notice.
Yeah.
Did
I
you
remember once
you
twisting.
probably get burns there, Eric, and you don't even notice. Like we get splinters and cuts and stuff, and it's just like, oh damn, I'm bleeding. When did that?
Burns that you don't notice. I remember once I like twisted my ankle and I was using like the line and like the pizza oven to like jump over. And then I don't know if I was working with Katie or not, but some asshole comes in and he's like, oh, he's like, you look hurt. And I just turned to Katie and it was just like, can you get this guy the fuck away from the counter, please? As I go and Carrie Fox my way like across the fucking line.
Nice.
Oh man. So yeah, it's just the struggle is real. You get injured and you're just like, fuck. I mean, I worked for like a month and a half on like a shattered rib cage, so
Yeah.
My old man broke his tibia and worked for, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks. And he's a truck driver, right? So like, he was hopping out of a gravel truck into snow, kind of caught his foot on a rock that you don't see, right? And just like, oh, fuck, that hurts. And then like worked on it, drove truck with it until there was one morning where he had to like butt scoot down the stairs. And he's like, oh, something's wrong. And I'm like, oh yeah, you have a broken leg. Like, he's driving fucking trucks. Broken leg. Yeah. Just like, oh yeah,
you just putting the clutch in.
Don't notice it.
Yeah, dude, well, except like that's a pretty big one. But sometimes you get like all the little shit that you get throughout the day, like little cuts and little shit. Like you can look down at your hands at any given time, and you're like, where the fuck is there blood there? Like, and then you're kind of like, where did that? Is that mine? And where did it come from? And then you're kind of looking all over because it happens, right? And then lots of times you get a big cut and you don't even notice, and you're just working away, and all of a sudden there's a blood on the tool. You're like, what the fuck?
My mitts are a mess from construction.
You remember that time when I came home? I think you and me were living at the Ramparts, and I went to a job where they're like, oh yeah, the water heater went out. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I went down there. They're like, it's been out all day or whatever. And so I went down there, and I'm like, okay. First rule of lighting a water heater is you get your head in there and you sniff and you make sure you don't smell any gas in there because you never know. And so I was like, it was the end of the day. I was like, oh, fuck, I'm just going to get this done, light this bitch and go home. And I just had a Bic lighter. Also, I'll just go get a fucking barbecue lighter that's really long. Don't use a Bic. I stuck my whole hand in the water heater, and then I went click, and it went boom, and it shot flame like all the way up my whole arm. I mean, the water heater was lit and working now, and I was like, oh fuck, there you go. But I was like, fuck, and like it was only like a flash, like a split second, right? Then it was all burned off, and I'm like, fuck, that hurt.
For those who don't know, Tyson's a pretty hairy little dude.
And I'm also usually very, very, very careful. Like I'm working around gas for 14 years. And that's the only thing I've ever done. And that was pretty early on when I was learning. And I came back home and I had these fucking huge fuck off blisters on all of my fingers, were just these bulbous blisters, and all the hair was burned off my arm. And I was sitting at the table where me and Sid live with my hand in the fucking like some ice cold, like the ice cold water. Just like the only relief I could get was keeping my hand in this pot of cold water, and every time the water would warm up, I'd have to go fill it with, because it was so fucking painful. Like, and that was the dumbest thing I ever done. So yeah,
or carrying that giant propane cylinder over ice by yourself. That was pretty dumb too. That was pretty dumb too. I fucked up my knee so good. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I know you were over at me and Nigel's place just smoking weed all day for like 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, I was fucking hurting, man. Holy shit. Well, that was icy, and I slipped, and that big fucking tank fell on my leg.
Funny kind of gas propane story. It doesn't involve any broken limbs, but we were driving. I mean, it could have. We were driving. It was like myself, Laura Park, and 2 other people driving to the Edson softball tournament, and Laura had borrowed like a trailer off of, I think, Ox's brother, if I'm not mistaken. It was his, and we're driving it, and everything's fine. We're having a good time. We're all excited, and we get to like that McDonald's, Wendy's, Tim Hortons at like an Edson.
Yeah.
And we go to the McDonald's, and then we have to make like the U-turn to get back onto the highway, to keep it going. And
because Edson's so fucked up.
We hit a bump, and then like we keep driving, and then you can hear like the like metal being dragged on ground. And we're like, what is that? Is that us? And it's like did we hit something? Like maybe the pothole was too deep, but I don't know if it was Laura or somebody else looked out back, and there's the propane tank from the trailer just
Jesus
on the fucking ground. So we pull over. There's no latch. Like I mean, the thing wasn't like fucking tied up or latched on or anything like that. So we're like, that thing was loose from Jasper all the way to Edson. We were like maybe 5 minutes away from the like where the softball diamonds were and the camping and all that. And it was just like, and then Ox shows up, and we're like, what the hell? Like, we could have exploded. Like, we're all sitting like the last 5 minutes of the drive was, of course, like no one's talking.
Yeah.
Because we're all just like, holy fuck. Like,
that was fucking dangerous. Yeah.
That could have been it.
Jeez.
And Ox was like, oh yeah, I totally meant to tell you that like the latch is fucked on that.
I totally meant to tell you.
Like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
On the handyman's favorite tool.
But then you quickly remember that it's August long and you're in Edson playing softball, and you're having like beer for breakfast and shit. But scary.
On the same hill, you mean you don't drag your propane tank down from town every day? Come on now.
Waste space.
Turning.
I get my buddy to try and shoot me like a duck, like him try to shoot it.
We ain't gonna have fireworks no other way.
Yeah, fuck it. So it was like a funny / scary. Obviously, we survived. Obviously, spoilers.
Obviously, spoilers.
So it turned into a funny story.
Fuck. Yeah, man. Gas is fucking. You don't fuck around with that shit. You work with all like the stoves and the ovens and everything, Eric, and the pizza. Like, it's all fucking gas. Now, you could light. You sometimes if like those burners get dirty, and the pilots aren't working, you got to reach in there and light them. Whenever you want to use them, and fuck, like fuck, and especially if there's
the deep fryer. The deep fryer caught on fire on 2 non-consecutive occasions.
I remember that because I remember getting the call to come down there, and you were like, oh yeah, it just started. I think what happened was like how a deep fryer works is there's a big fuck off burner below a giant thing of oil, and I think didn't that just get a hole in it and the oil leaked?
So yes, and so there was like a leaks. I remember finishing an order, and there was only like 5 people in there, and I finished the order, and I'm like, I'm going out for a smoke, and And I wasn't outside for like 5 seconds, and the till girl comes running out like, Eric, the deep fryer's on fire. And I'm like, what?
Nah, bitch.
So I go back in. I go back. I'm like, I'll get to the bottom of this. I go back in. It's like the smoke is coming out of that front area where like the cupboard is, I guess. And I open that up, and it's just, you can just see oil fire just dripping off. I'm like, everybody out.
Well, there's a gas shutoff right at the front there where you drain it, isn't there?
Yeah. So I cranked that, but I mean, it was still on fire.
Oh yeah. It's not just gonna go out, but at least it's gonna stop feeding it a little bit.
So of course I go to grab the line fire extinguisher, go to shoot that thing off. Nothing. Buckus. Fucking bang flag comes out of it.
Oh, so it's expired and empty then, obviously?
It had totally expired. This was back, I must say, this was back in the bad old days.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So not anything like that has happened in the last 6 years.
That's not the new North Face. That's
No, not at all. See, I grabbed the other one from the hallway, and luckily that thing fired. And Jen's like, what happened? And I'm like, we almost just got murdered is what happened here. Like, I just saved 6 lives today.
Were they worth saving is the big question.
Nah, the family was, but no employees ever. That's just downsizing right there. I'm saving the company money.
Well, with the insurance payout and not having to pay these 5 people, you're all right.
I think
Rob would always say too, like, if the restaurant's on fire, just fucking let her burn.
Let her burn.
Just let her burn.
I remember getting that call too, because I went down, and then I think I was like, "Yeah, Eric, you're getting a new deep fryer. Like, is it here?" You're like, "Yeah, it's over there or something." And it was like not a new one; it was like a new old one.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, cool. And then I'm like, well, how come you're getting rid of this? And you're like, well, it erupted in flames. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a pretty good fucking reason, man.
that deep fryer is still in the can shed at fucking work. It still sits there.
Oh, really?
As a fucking reminder.
You know what? You could fucking probably take the burners out if you're in dire straits, and swap them for, if they're the same model, for if fucking something.
Just tack a little bit of steel onto the bottom of that, and you're fine.
JB Weld.
No, I prefer chewing
not
gum.
even an actual welding.
No, JB Weld's good enough, man.
Dude, I saw so they had bylaw set up at either end of town, and I saw people getting pulled over by the RCs, and I was like, is this speeding or is this because people are coming to town? Because they've been talking about doing something a little more than that. In an article in the Fitzhugh, they were talking about Staff Sergeant Rick, super nice dude.
Yeah.
But he was talking to them, going like, yeah, he's like, they've been talking to like families they're touristing, and being like, yeah, look, what are you
fucking
doing here?
Idiots! You
Get
fucking
the fuck out of here.
Like,
Right.
They're going to be what? They're going to be opening up middle of May. They're going to be opening up the province, the bars, restaurants, campgrounds, all that kind of stuff. Luckily, insurance is better, so the provincial government has no jurisdiction in that regard. Hopefully, well, I assume the federal government's going to be a little more cautious about. But I've heard that they're bringing 150 more employees for PCL to get fucking Whistler done. So, because they opened up one of the Pursuit hotels, I've heard. Maybe
Jasper's gonna be open the same as everywhere.
You're gonna see a spike, man. As soon as those restaurants and bars get open, there's gonna be a fucking spike, and then we're gonna be right back to this shit, and then everyone's gonna go, "Wow, fucking who could have known?
Who could have known this was gonna happen?
Who fucking could have known?" Because everybody, there's a lot of people I talk to who are like, "I don't even care. I'm just done with this shit." Well, you know what? Yeah. If you're fucking done with it, then we might as well have not even fucking started this in the first place.
Yeah,
and right back here. So it doesn't fucking matter if you're done with it. It doesn't matter if you're sick and tired of this shit. It doesn't fucking matter. Because as soon as, if you're like, oh fuck, I don't give a fuck. Let's just go back and let's just whatever. Let whatever happens happen. Well,
I'm not gonna lie. I've done a little bit of socializing. Like I've hung out with like 1 or 2 people. Yeah. And been like, it's not like we're hugging or touching or sharing glasses or anything, but like, caution while not just totally isolating yourself, I think is probably a fine measure. As long as you're clean, you're not fucking sharing shit.
Yeah,
we'll go. The Minister of Health did say, I mean, like, you know, it is okay to socialize under, you know, groups of, you know, like keep your group to under 10.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as you're not touching each other and sharing shit.
Yeah.
You know, like you know, wash your hands and fucking don't share stuff. Like I think I can't remember what country is doing that, but there's a country that's doing that. Like everything's still open, just maintain your distance and cleanliness, and their rates haven't gone up, but everything's still functioning normally. Right?
Is that New Zealand?
I think it's Sweden, and they just had their biggest spike of the virus like today.
Because people probably got comfortable with like, oh, the social distancing is working, and then they're just like, it's not real.
So like it happens, but
that's going to happen here in 2 weeks.
That's absolutely going to happen. That's why, you know, like, I get the whole like socializing, but people make mistakes, man. People slip up, people forget, and then they just they go back to their old ways. I'm not saying that you would do it personally, but I'm just saying it's going to happen.
Dude, they're gonna open the fucking daycares or something. I'm not sending Bruce that fucking. He can't make him with like a cold every fucking week when it wasn't a fucking pandemic going on.
Yeah,
you know, like
not till there's a vaccine. You have to. For me, this is not over until there's a vaccine.
Yeah,
No, I was just gonna say, like, even when we use bleach spray, we've got a communal washroom on the job site, and it's like you go in there, you do your business, and then you fucking sanitize everything. Like and we're all obeying. You know, we're not socializing, we're not going out and about, we're not doing all this stuff, but we're still following the orders. But you can't do that when you've got 15 kids and 2 people watching them. You can't wipe everything down in bleach because those kids are going to be putting their mouths on it. Mm-hmm. You can't be, you know, you just can't. Like kids are germ factories. That's the point of being a kid, is that you build up all these immunities, but you don't want to build up an immunity to shit like that because
I've never had so many fucking colds in my life since I started sending him to daycare.
I
have a cold fucking 4 times a year. I get a cold once a year at the very most, if that, for my whole life, and I get over that fucker in like 2 days. He started going to daycare. It's like 4 days I'm sick, and it happens 4 times a year. And he just comes home with his fucking snotty nose, and I'm like, oh fuck, you know. And then all the kids at daycare have it, you know, like it's fuck, like they're little disease factories, man. I'm not sending him there. There's just no
daycares aren't super hygiene when it's fucking safe to go there.
Oh fuck, you try to keep fucking one kid clean and try to keep
absolutely.
Like,
see, this is like the one time where like it's really gonna suck living in a North American culture, because North Americans, we are, and I speak for like the majority, not you know, people who are like-minded like you and I. There's a majority of fucking idiots in North America who, once they hear, oh, shit's opened, it's like, well, now I want to go to the movies, and now I want to go to like a fucking, you know, Oilers game, and
Already people are doing that. They're going, oh, it's lax, it's fine. My friend in Saskatoon, she posted a big thing about like the second they release this information about them starting to ease up and reintegrate business into and all this stuff into everyday life, all of a sudden the streets are clogged with traffic. The project engineer was down today, and he's like, yeah, you know, like when we shut down a month ago, the road was bare and everything, and he's like, when I was coming in today, there were families picnicking at pullouts, and like he's sitting there going, you know, I'd love to be able to come up to Jasper for a day trip, but I'm not going to bring my family in day trip. Like, people shouldn't be doing that. Like,
I see people.
You guys live in the park, go out and hike, do your shit, right? Because we're already here. This is our life. This is our home.
Yeah.
But there's hotels that are taking people in, like the Mount Robson, the Decor hotels. They're accepting people, and like these people don't need to.
And my mom said they're going to start calling their staff back pretty soon. Be like, as soon as this all gets going, and like,
because no one's still accepting random people there.
But like, I mean, they're going to be everything's going to just like everybody. Like it's like it at the beginning of March when everyone's like, that's never going to come here. Don't worry about it. And everybody was just like keeping on. Nobody was doing fuck all. It's the same. It's like the end. It's like all of a sudden, like the weather starts getting nice, and everyone just goes, fuck it. It's not gonna be that bad here, and let's just open everything up. And of course, summer's coming in Jasper, so if you think all the businesses here, if you think all the businesses here want to give up fucking money, you got another thing. Like they will do. There's no way.
Opening a city is entirely different from opening up a small town that is
a tourist town that will
that relies on tourists for like their income. Like
it's gonna have like
completely different thing.
There'll be 30,000 more people here.
We have been at one case for like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You start letting these fuckers in, and it's just going to balloon. And this town certainly does not have the facilities to deal with like more than maybe like 2 people.
We have a healthcare facility, not a hospital. And the thing is, like, okay, tourists can come here and they can go hiking and they can do whatever. But if we start opening shit up again, then every business thrives on social interaction. You're not going and getting your own food from a place, and even if you are, like, at North Face there, you're 2 feet away, you're touching a counter that everyone else is touching. I just think it's a little like, I'm keen to kind of start industry up again for sure, but also opening social events up in phase 1. Like, I haven't looked deeply into it, but like phase 1 is opening up bars and restaurants, not nightclubs. But it's like, well, yeah, but
what's the difference?
50% capacity at a bar. No one's going to be sitting 6 feet away from each other. No. Everyone's going to be gathered around the 3 low tables at the stop, like we had, and like there's 15 of us there, and we're all right close to each other, so we can all sit together and hear each other. Like, no,
it'll be
nobody's going to go to a pub and sit 6 feet away from someone.
It's not like the difference between a night. Like, it's not like just it not being a nightclub's not going to mean that there's some really fucking too drunk guy who thinks you can't hear him, so he's got his arm around you and he's fucking just talking in your ear like, let me tell you about the time, and he just like spit
blobbering your ear.
Like, fuck. And I mean, like, that shit just happens when there's a bunch of drunkards around. Like, it's just what happens.
It just
So like a bar is a bad fucking plan.
People just forget, man. Like, they forget, and it's just and if they just don't pay attention.
Their inhibitions are lowered when you're drunk. So fuck, like, you're gonna go out and crank a few beers and go, fuck, I don't give a shit, and then you're gonna get COVID, and that's gonna be fucking. And then you're like, well, dude, shit, like,
which isn't, and I must say this: getting COVID isn't necessarily a death sentence.
No, it's not. It's not.
There are people who are higher
but
risk.
It is a death sentence for
Katie, and I always say this to people: like, look at the death rate compared to the survival rate. It's so much more like, and again, I'm not saying that people should be lax about it. I've seen people on my Facebook feed, they're talking about how they can't wait to start, traveling, and a lot of the people, let's face it, where do white North Americans go? They go to Asia, and it's like, not necessarily that it's, this is like an Asian thing. Again, I'm not trying to blame Asians, but it's, you have to make stops, and I mean, it's not just a straight flight, right? Like, you're stopping off in places. And I saw there was one girl, I unfriended her because I was just, she went for a drive with her kids. And of course, people are blasting her for, like, don't fucking, like, she went to some provincial park or something with like, there's like some monument there. And she was talking about how she got to check this off her fucking bucket list. And of course, people are lambasting her for it. And then she tried to play like, oh, well, I care about my mental health. And it's like, checking something off your bucket list isn't like your mental health.
Yeah. Well, you can't put your kids in it though. Like,
and she's talking about like, oh, like, it didn't seem to be a problem when we at the 4 drive-thrus that we went through. And it's like, yeah, it is. Like, you went to 4 different drive-thrus on one fucking drive. On one rip, it was being called, and it's like, dude, not only are you putting your kids, this be a case for like child services, because you're definitely putting your fucking kids in danger. And that's the kind of attitude that I fear for this continent, and why it's going to get. I think a couple months down the road, it's going to be so much fucking worse than it is now. And again, it's just like, stay the fuck home. Just stay the fuck goddamn home.
Honestly, if everybody did stay the fuck home for 3 months, it probably would have been out of the fucking system.
Well, it's always going to be there.
Months.
You know, we just need a vaccine. We just need a vaccine.
Yeah.
It's not over until there's a vaccine.
But because like this could all be like there could be no reported cases for like 2 months, like in Canada, and we could go, oh, fucking okay, cool. Like, there's no more cases in Canada. If you live in Canada, you're gonna be fine. Let's open up the borders, and then they'll open up the borders, and somebody will fly from fucking wherever and fucking cough on something, and then fuck, here we go again. Like, so like,
and you can catch it again. Like, you can get it and not have it, and then you can get it again. Like, you can get it twice.
It is not the chicken pox.
No.
Well, and it's not like it's kind of like the common cold, maybe, like where you're going to keep getting it. I don't know how it's going to work, right? Like, I'm not a fucking medical scientist, doctor, whatever. But like, from what my understanding of it is, you could get it, and then you could be immune, or you could not, or you could get it and be fine. You could get it and get some serious fucking lung problems. If you're younger, you could get it and have a fucking stroke now, or not. Like, who knows? So it's easier just to not get it. You know, just that's the idea. That's why everybody's fucking being so careful. It's easier just to not get it and save everything the fucking problem. Like, who knows what happens 10 years from now if you got it? Oh, fuck, in 10 years, they're like, oh, now we know that 10 years after you get it, you fucking die or something, you know, like, or something along those lines.
It's not mesothelioma, guy.
Yeah, okay. Well, so you know what I mean, but like, it's something that you can avoid, so why not? Like, if it's like
because it isn't
avoid it, then you do.
Because it isn't an option for everyone, and like, you know, I always take both sides into account, and I can see some people who have a different lifestyle or a more expensive lifestyle, or people who are raising kids who both the supporting parents are now knocked down, and they're working high-paying jobs or two jobs to make the money to pay for their kids. Like, you know, we have a friend who's a single parent with 2 children on Vancouver Island, who's like, she works with old people. She can't go to work, and she's got like rent that's probably twice what we pay here.
I agree with this part. You know? Like, if you have to, you don't have a fuck. But if it's to take, because fuck, it's driving me nuts. I just got to get out to a fucking and see people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
But like, if you don't have a fucking choice and you can't stay home.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I take Bruce to the store. I make sure he doesn't touch anything. We got to get groceries. You know, we got to go in the store, and then if at all possible, Inga waits outside with him, and I go into the store, or the other way around, or something, and then we sanitize and wash and all that, and we wash our hands when we get home and all this stuff. And if it's a post office, he doesn't go in the post office, and so on and so on and so on. But like, I'm not so much worried about, like, we'll go to my parents' house, but we'll stay apart in the front yard, and we won't go in the house. We'll just stay in the front yard. We'll sit like 6 whatever. We'll just sit a good distance apart. It's not like we get out a tape measure. Yeah. And Bruce will run around in the yard and just kind of we keep our distance. But like, I'm worried about my parents getting it from us, because I'm still going to work a little bit. Inga's still going to work. She's still around people. I'm still around people. You know, and my mom will say like, well, we go to the store and then I come home. So what's the difference? And I say, well, we all go to the store, but like, who knows where, like, I'm in people's houses sometimes. And I have gloves and a mask and all this.
You're protecting from other people. You're not protecting from yourself.
Because like, I don't want my parents are in mid to late 60s.
My mom as well.
So, you know, and your mom did have it, right?
My mom did have it. Yeah.
And she's better now?
Yeah, she got cleared last week.
Fuck, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And like, you experienced this kind of first.
But she can absolutely have it again.
Yeah. Okay. Like, you probably talked to her, like, she probably was like, this fucking sucks, like.
Well, yeah, absolutely, of course, she got it from fucking people at work that were going to work, and you know, and like, I get the whole you need to work, I get that part, but there's people that go to work negligently too. I feel like some people that need to go to work are just going to work because they want to make money, and that's a fair point. You want to make money, you need to. Yeah, but
there's no reason you can't protect. There's no reason you can't take precautions.
No, there's absolutely not. But and the reason she caught it is because people were going to work that were higher up in her company than she is, and they did not. They weren't aware, or they didn't know,
or they just
didn't give a shit, or they weren't being as sanitary as they needed to be.
Dude, I got a call about like I had to go clean a drain this week, and so which means I had to go to somebody's house.
You cleaned something for somebody else? No way.
Okay, so that's a let me put it in a different way. I ran a snake down a plugged kitchen sink drain.
So you helped somebody unplug something as well, yes. Which I've also inquired about. Really, you unplugged something for somebody.
I don't understand why everybody gets mad at me for not doing this for free. You have landlords. Your landlords pay the plumbing bill. Get your landlord to call my company, and we'll come, and your landlord will pay my company. Why the hell would I come do it for free? And why the hell would you think that you have to pay for it?
I'm just
your landlord does.
I'm just messing with you.
So anyway,
this is our bit. I'm just doing a bit.
I'm just saying, like, everybody's like, why don't you do plumbing for free? Well, it's because you have landlords. If it was your house,
I could talk about Apocalypse Now if you want.
If you owned the house and you were my friend, I'd probably come have a look at your problem. I wouldn't have an issue. You have landlords. Landlords are responsible for taking care of that kind of shit. So you need to call a company, which would be my company, and then we'll come and everybody will get paid, and your landlords will pay for us to fix it.
No, we all know this. I'm just doing the bit.
I'm sick of getting shit for not doing free stuff. I mean, like, Jesus Christ.
I'm just doing a bit, man.
I'm sick of you teaching people how to do shit and then collecting money on it.
That was awesome. So I got this call, and so I went there, but I called them on the phone, like, I heard you have, this, and they're like, yeah, can you come around? And I said, no problem, don't worry, like, just as long as, like, we keep our distance, and I'll wear a mask, and I'll wear gloves as long as I'm in your home. And they were like, oh, like, do you want us, like, are you worried about us being close? And I was like, well, no, not if, like, I'm wearing a mask and you're, like, we just, as long as we're not, like, super close, it should be fine. And they, like, I seemed to be more concerned with it than they were. Yeah. And I was like, as long as I'm in your home, I'll wear a mask and I'll wear gloves and blah, 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 blah. And so when I was in there, I had this fucking mask and gloves, and I went through, like, 10 pairs of those fucking rubber gloves, like the disposable gloves, the whole time I was there. But it's just like everybody's got a different mindset about it.
Yeah. I think that's the thing too. Like, people, like, I'm not sick, you're not sick, so
who gives a
let's fuck,
Yeah. But, like,
you know what I mean, like,
which is fine.
People say that all the time, and then they get sick. So
that's right.
I never get sick. You don't have to worry. Yeah. Everything's fine. There's no signs.
No, I gotta say, like, I feel like there's one particular business. I don't know what it's like in every other town or anywhere else in this country, but the fucking post office, man, they are doing it so wrong. Like, I know they've got signage up and they're like, only 2 people in line at a time, and it's like, well, first off, that's not going to happen. They've got reduced hours, so there's 10 to 4. So everyone who has a parcel is, like, rushing in between 10 to 4. I went there, ordered 10 this morning because I have 2 parcels that have come over the week, and I was like, well, I'll get them on Friday. 9:45, there is already a lineup outside. And I'm like, okay, so they don't want gatherings in there. No more than 5 people in the block area where you go to your post box, and no more than 2 people in, like, the mail room. So we're all standing in line. Luckily, Tyson and Chelsea were in line as well, so that was fun. Not this Tyson.
Fake other
so
Tyson.
I got to chat to them, but, like, it's just, okay, sweet. Everyone goes, but there's 6 hours, and they break all at once for lunch for an hour. So they're really open 5 hours. And it's like, okay, well,
now you're cramming everybody in there.
Yeah, exactly. And I also feel bad for the postal workers. I don't know what kind of, if they're getting severance or anything, or, like, hazard pay or anything, but they're just getting reduced hours, not to the point of being able to collect CRB payments. If they're making more than $1,000 every 2 weeks or whatever it is, you can't get that. Mm-hmm. So they're just getting reduced hours and a higher risk, because you've got fucking a constant stream of humans coming up to you. If they just maintain 9 to 5 hours, didn't break for lunch all at once, then people wouldn't be crowding that place. Like, it's obscene.
That sounds stupid.
When I was in line, people were going into the handicap, like, ramp door and coming down and standing in line. And before I even got inside, when they started taking people in at 10, there was a lineup of, like, 12 people behind me.
I'm never going to the post office again.
Oh, yeah, because they don't accept people in that door either.
So
we'll get Kevin Costner to deliver you your mail, Justin.
Sold.
But like what? So like you know how you have the right to refuse unsafe work or work that you think is a immediate like threat to your health and life.
Well, apparently,
like if you were a worker in a essential service, you know, whatever was deemed an essential service, if you refused to work because you didn't feel safe, like could you claim could you claim EI at this point? Like if you're like, look, I don't feel like,
I feel like there would be an investigation into that, like WCB or like there'd be like an insurance investigation into like if you went, okay, well, I refused unsafe work and you got fired, then there would be compensation for you.
Well, they would say like, well, what did you think was unsafe? And you say, well, there was a fucking pandemic and I was around all these people. But then they say like, but you still go to the grocery store, and then you're like, well, yeah, but like,
you're waiting in line at the post office with those fucking people, and
your parcels nervous from wherever that have been handled by who knows how many people.
Yeah.
So like,
I feel like we're in the middle of like a reboot. I feel like we're Topher Grace, and we're getting like fucking like everything we knew is getting erased, and it's just gonna be like there's gonna. I'm not talking about like a new world order and like fucking shadow governments and shit like that. But
are you sure?
Yeah, sure.
Are you not ready to eat your neighbor?
Hillary Clinton.
But like my neighbors for weeks now.
No, there's gonna be like
from her lair with Jeff Bezos. And they're going to turn your sons and daughters into lesbians.
They're trying to make the frogs gay.
That's COVID-19. Hillary Clinton comes into your bedroom, and she turns you into a lesbian.
Oh, man.
She'd do it, too. She's that kind of dude.
She is that guy. Don't let the pantsuit fool you, man.
I think we scared away Tyson.
There's a reason her middle name's Rod Ham, right?
But yeah, no, seriously, I feel like there's gonna be a big reboot, and laws are gonna change.
Feel like I could see laws change, but I don't feel like people are. I think eventually people forget shit, man. People are just gonna like.
There are people who forget shit, but there are also people who are dumb as shit.
Well, yeah.
And living in Alberta, I can't see things changing.
This comes back to like the whole fucking discussion we had, I believe, on an earlier episode about woke culture. Once you tell these woke idiots that, yes, you can go to the movies, but now, if they're at capacity and you have a group of 5 friends and one of your friends, and now you're pissing them off, you're fucking, you're putting them into a corner. And I think that the clash of COVID-19 laws and restrictions and regulations and the woke culture is coming to this gigantic, just big bang almost.
Yeah, did you see on Twitter that millennials who've never seen Tropic Thunder want to cancel Robert Downey Jr. now because he was in blackface? For that movie,
so like 10 years ago,
10 years ago, man.
They wanted to cancel Ben Stiller too for going full retard.
Yeah. No. This is like millennials now that have just seen Tropic Thunder for the first time, and they're all offended that he went blackface.
Yeah, and now you're gonna take away their nightlife, whatever, and they're gonna be fucking like flipping.
Getting insulted or physically hurt, or all of these things are part of growing up and establishing your belief system. Yeah. If you have a belief system that is like, okay, well, everyone should have their own belief system and it should be respected and there should never be tested on it, is such bullshit, because then you have all these people who believe something that they don't preach. You have all these people who aren't willing to stand up for their beliefs because their beliefs shouldn't be questioned. It's fucking ridiculous. It's, you know what? There's nothing wrong with fucking Tropic Thunder. It's a funny fucking movie. There are fucking real racist movies from the 30s where people are dressed in blackface.
Literally every movie from the 30s.
But it's a freeze frame of a time that was different, and if you're going to garner anything from something like that, as opposed to be offended and try to ban that, well, use it as an instructional tool and teach people how this was wrong. This is something that was propagated and celebrated, and it's wrong. don't just like I just hate this cancel culture that we live in. It's
I
fucking
hate it. I can't stand it.
It's so bad.
I remember telling Justin, it was like, it's, and I've said this to other people too. It's like, they're so bad. They're so bad that a lot of things I agree with, but the way they go about it, it's like, I don't want to be seen with you, man.
Yeah.
It's like
you're doing 10 times to the person that's offending you. The 10 times what you feel is the reason that you're attacking that person. Like, you know, people say something that's sexist or racist online and they get doxxed, and that is the rest of their life ruined. That is death threats on physical being. That is their family being threatened. That is all this stuff that, okay, well, you're just doing exactly what you're fighting against, but worse.
You've become what you rally against. You've become establishment. And you've always, people like that have always said, like, fuck the establishment. Well, now you're the establishment.
I do actually think about that, like, all the time after we've done episodes. I, like, think in my head, especially when I'm talking, I'm like, oh, I probably fucking shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have talked about that. I always worry that people are going to come back.
Never gone that degree.
No, we never have. But it's always in the back of my mind that, like, oh, someone's going to fucking not like that thing that I said about that thing.
Yeah, but people aren't gonna like things that's just you being happy about liking something either, because you're like, this guy's a fucking retard because he likes something shitty.
But you can't be afraid to be a little bit controversial though, like or to if it means like that's your opinion on something, then I mean that's just who you are, man.
I'm not gonna stop. People will go after like comedians, like for instance Bill Burr, who
is a fucking genius.
Nice. He is a genius, and he's fucking
genius.
Hilarious because it's a fucking act. Bill Burr doesn't go home and beat his fucking wife and treat her like fucking shit. No, but on stage, you bet your ass he does, because it's fucking hilarious.
He actually has a good joke about his wife beating the shit out of him.
Right.
Well, she is Asian.
The way he goes after like different groups of people, especially women, like when he does that fucking woman voice, like, I didn't know it was supposed to be like, why are you yelling at me? It's so fucking funny, and you know his wife doesn't take that shit, because you listen to his show. You'll know that she'll bust his fucking twiggy ginger ass.
Absolutely.
Well, and you know, like when he was starting his career, he got married and like had a kid at like 42 or 43, like, you know, like a little bit older than traditionally, I guess you would give.
Oh yeah, his kid's only he was like 48 when he had his kid.
Yeah, like so. Well, I mean, there's nothing fucking wrong with that, but like, you know, like he spent his whole life like, you know, doing this kind of like act and all this shit, and then he got you know, he did it for his whole youth and his whole adult, you know, and then he got married and he had a kid, and he kind of things started changing. Like he quit having those kind of like Oprah is shit view, you know, like where he talks about like, he's got one joke where he's like, oh, and he talks about Oprah, and she's like, I'm introducing next the woman with the most hardest job in the entire world, mother. And like, he's like,
Dylan goes on about that,
and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought roofing in the middle of fucking August was the hardest job.
It's about us. It's about single mothers. He went off on single mothers.
But that's
he's like, really? Is that harder than ice truckers?
Yeah, because like,
is it really that hard?
Defusing bombs in the fucking military is being a single mom harder than that?
Yeah,
really?
Oprah's always like that. She's like
bombs every day as a single mom, Eric. Okay,
get the hottest job in the world. She's a mother, and she's 92 years young. Like, you know, she always says shit like that. It fucking like that Oprah.
But
shit
bringing it back around like that, like it's all in the context. He's a fucking comedian. That's his brand of comedy. Robert Downey Jr. When I see Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, you see those trailers they have like before the movie starts, like the fake trailers. And there's one where he's like a gay monk. So in my mind, I see him in blackface, and I immediately start thinking about, you know what? He probably had gay sex to get ready for that fucking role.
It's fucking satire. The whole movie.
That's what his character. He's committed. He's, you know what I mean? He's a thespian.
Yeah.
That movie fucking rocks hard. I love it.
But like,
Thunder.
So you want to talk about like that kind of thing? Like, what's the difference between, I mean, you could tell me I'm an asshole here, but what's the difference between Robert Downey Jr. doing blackface in that movie and the Wayans brothers doing whiteface in the fucking White Girls movie? Where like the whole movie
actually nothing because there's comedy. It's comedy.
First and foremost, that's reverse racism, and that's allowed.
What? So I'm allowed to say that, or what is it? Like,
I mean, white people are assholes, and they deserve it.
Look, it's both movies. It's both comedies. If you want to call one racist and not the other one racist, well, then you can't.
You don't call any of them fucking racist.
Yeah, like
they're not being done in hate. It's not like they dressed up as white people and they're like they're treating people like shit. Like. Or vice versa. I would say a movie like fucking Django, where here is, you know, like the black guy in those times is giving these fuckers their comeuppance, you know, but people are like, oh, it's too racist to watch. It's like, no, man, he's fucking people up. Like, it's like Black Superman in the Old West.
Yeah. Well, it's like people are bitching about the Barrett character being like Mr. T, like, you know, stereotypical 90s black guy. And every time I hear people complaining about it, I'm just like, what? Spoilers.
Are you talking about
context?
First and foremost, Tyson, the fuck?
Well, I've never heard
played that game how many times? Yeah, well, you know how he speaks. Damn it, dog. Well,
in my brain.
You know the planet's crying. Like. You know it's crying. How can you not?
And he's like, you know, then he looks at his gun.
Mr. T. You know? Exactly. But, like, people were disappointed that they kept that character trait. And it's like, that is the character.
Yeah, that
Him
is the
being
character.
Black has nothing to do with his mentality.
No,
his being an angry fucking jack aggressor has nothing to do with his color. Like, he's a marginalized person amongst a litany of other marginalized people. He's just one who stood up and fought back. And... okay, shit, yeah, he's stereotypical, damn. But like, you know, nobody gave Mr. T shit for being himself. This is a fictional character. Can he not just be a fictional character?
Mr. T is still exactly the same as he was on the AT.
But I'm just saying, like, you know, this character has been this character since that game came out.
Wait,
and I never looked at it as like this racist trope. And now it's like, oh, people are like, oh, fuck, was he just a stereotypical? I'm disappointed that his character is the same. I am excited that his character is the same because I want these characters to be the characters that I remember. I want these characters to be the people I was rooting for when I was playing through that game. You know, like, there's nothing wrong with having a fucking angry black dude as a person. He's not just this angry black dude. He's still this character, and he's developed this way because of the situations it's come across. It's just like
it's all that. No. It's all that, and it's all context. What is the context in which I am seeing this? If I'm at a comedy club, I'm expecting, you know, to hear like shit like that, you know, and then you fucking people, you know, you go to, oh well, I was offended by this comedian. It's like, but don't go to fucking. Why the fuck were you there?
Yeah, like, don't buy another ticket. Okay, you don't like this
ever again, and then like you were saying with like the doxing or doxing whatever, and how they go fucking after people's throats and
jobs
like,
and
whether they're in the right or wrong. I could never bring myself to fucking do that. I remember when that fucking picture of that kid in the fucking Trump hat and the fucking native chief whatever. Mm-hmm. And it looked like he was fucking smirking and shit. And then it came out that the woke Kathy Griffin and all those fucking idiots went after this guy. They thought they tracked him down. They broke up a fucking wedding. Turns out they had the wrong fucking guy. It just kind of looked like him.
Seriously?
And they fucked up again. They went to people thought they had the school that he went to. So then they went to the fucking school again. Wrong fucking guy. Then the native chief comes out and is like, this is what you heard about this fucking picture on the news is completely wrong and is not what fucking happened. And then you're like, then you're looking at these people who are off fighting the good fight and you're like, you're a fucking piece of shit. And
well, look,
for the piercing of comedy, it's like, I hope something bad happens to somebody good because of your fucking
Can we agree that social justice warriors across the board are fucking sacks of shit?
Well, half the time they're people who are just bored. I swear to God.
No. It's like get off
not offended by this. Well, you should be. I'll be offended for you. I'll be offended for you because I have nothing better to do with my fucking
like did anyone give a shit to ask if they're offended? Like the actual people that it might offend, are they offended? Or is it just people assuming that they're offended?
It's just that the whole idea of like this cisgendered white people are just like top of the world, and all of these wealthy, well-to-do trust fund people are cisgendered white people. So they go, oh my god, okay, I have to do something. Well, you know what? Like, there's a lot of fucking regular ass goddamn people who are just cisgendered white people trying to fucking do it, who go through struggles of poverty and hate and bullying and all the shit that everyone else goes through. Just because we aren't a marginalized group doesn't mean we don't deal with this kind of shit. And so all these people who don't have to deal with it just go, oh my god, yeah, you're right. I've had it so good. I should shit on everybody that's like me and do better for all these other people. And it's fucking ridiculous. You know what?
The problem is everybody's so fucking angry about everying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know when that happened.
Where's the middle ground? It happened in like 2000, like 13, 14. That's when all this shit started happening.
There's also those people who go like, okay, well, I'm going to go and give this homeless person food, but I'm only going to do it because I'm getting filmed.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like that was like the beginning of this SJW fucking movement. I don't know that. I'm talking out my ass, but like it seems like that was the beginning where it's just like
I'm only going to do it
for notoriety of how
I'm going to do good
deeds.
And if I can put it on Instagram
so
and get
people
fucking
know that, like,
points.
That girl that I date raped at the frat house, I've made up for it by feeding 3 homeless people on YouTube.
Yeah,
you know, like it's bullshit. You know what? Go and work a soup kitchen without any fucking Instagram shit. You know?
Yeah.
Do a lot of things.
If you feel like making a difference, but like going and buying, like, oh hey, oh yeah, no, oh what do you need? Oh, I need some shoes. Okay, cool. They have a plant sitting there filming the whole thing, and then the guy goes and buys them some shoes and goes, oh man, do these fit you? Here's some shoes. Yeah, we did good. And it's like, no, you did good for you.
Yeah.
This is self-gratification. You're not doing that you're doing it to feel better, but so that people feel good about you.
Yeah, but any charity, like, it is kind of selfish in a way because it gives you...
There's self-gratification.
You feel
Absolutely.
Good. But like,
you can be anonymously charitable.
Yeah, but you don't start filming that shit so that you get other people's "wow, you're doing a good job" bullshit.
Yeah. No, that's bullshit.
That changes gears, man.
You know those GoFundMes that go around from time to time, and like every now and then you get one from somebody you know, and you're like, oh fuck, like I should fucking help.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta like. I've done that a couple of times, or a few times where I've given some cash, but I always make sure it's anonymous because I just don't want the bullshit with it. Like,
I'm the same.
I don't want my name there, so everyone's like, "Oh my god, you're such a good person!" Like, fuck off!
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do this. Just like fuck, they need some help. I can afford to help a little bit. That's it. Anonymous playing help, and there's no more of it. Like, why does everybody need the camera on them, and so then they're like, I'm a fucking amazing humanitarian person. Like, fuck off. Like, just do the good deed and fucking don't worry about don't worry about if anyone ever knows you did it.
But I've done that part and tried to promote it, but that was for an organization that I was a part of. And I feel like even that, there was a part of me that was like, but this organization that I'm a member of has like dwindling members, and there was the thought of like, well, maybe people will see that we're just like this philanthropic group that gives to the community. So we did like a paper feature and something that we did for the hospital and shit. And even that whole time I was like, I kind of feel a little greasy about like promoting the fact that we're doing this, but it's not for personal gain.
Yeah,
it's weird. There's a fine line, and I feel like it's drawn pretty heavily in the sand.
I guess, I don't know. Like, it's.
I don't want recognition as an individual, but recognition of a group doing good, anonymous in the sense that it's not showcasing the people that are doing it.
But there's so many people out there who you're right. Like they film this shit, they do this shit just to make sure that their stock, like their social media or influencer stock, goes up. And that's like a business. Like, look, how much fucking emails and fucking bullshit and text messages did you get about COVID? We're here to help. TD Bank sends you a thing. We're here to help. Oh, really? Did you fucking do anything to save me some money? Nope. You just sent me a fucking bullshit email about it. Oh, hey, we're here to help. Hey, Rogers is here to help. Really? Did you cut myself bill? Nope. You didn't do fuck all.
I got one from Shaw going, are you dealing with this all right? maybe you should upgrade. And it's like, excuse me?
Maybe you should upgrade.
Wow.
Fuck off.
My Wi-Fi is not good enough because my family's home. I should pay you more money right now while I'm dealing with like a fucking
there's a few
financial
things
collapse in my locally owned mom and pop shop. Like, fuck off.
There's a few things like some games like went on sale. There's like some streaming services were free. You know, like some I think CBC Gem is free right now.
Yeah,
and
I think that is free anyways.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I thought it was.
I think so. It's CBC, man.
There are some. I find that it's more streaming services that are doing it, but it's funny that you bring up TV because a lot of like the cable stations, despite this pandemic, are showing like record low numbers in like viewing.
It's because cable sucks
deal with that shit, yo.
Yeah.
Dude, I had cable for fucking like a year. I bought it for the sports stations. It was the biggest pain in the ass on the planet because I wanted to watch fucking Oilers games, and I there was no I had the NHL Game Center that I paid for, but they blacked out all the fucking games that were happening on CBC or anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the fuck am I paying this fucking shitty service for? So I fucking got rid of it, and they called me, and they were like, why did you've been a subscriber for 2 years. What the fuck? And I was like, well, your service is fucking garbage. It blacks everything out. And they were like, well, it's the rights holders. And I was like, I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah,
I don't really care what the fuck
package to watch the fucking NHL.
I want a package to watch the fucking Edmonton Oilers. So now Sportsnet now has one. I can just watch Sportsnet games. And I think they somehow show Hockey Night in Canada. But anyway, I bought cable. It was like $120 a month. It was fucking obscene.
Oh yeah,
no way it was worth
PVR
it.
Bullshit.
No, but I had HD fucking sports and all this, and I spent more time just fucking trying to fix the fucking cable problems. Like, hey, one channel's not in HD. It's supposed to be. You assured me, and the guy on Shaw was like, yeah, no, it's supposed to be in HD. You're absolutely right.
A bunch of jackals.
And I said, I think I can't get it because I live in Jasper, and I think it's kind of like a fucking on your fucking map, Shaw. It's a 1-horse town, and you don't have this kind of shit here.
Legit, dude.
They were like, yes, we do, absolutely. They called me back like 2 hours later, and he was like, yeah, okay, so we can't do that. And I said, well, I'm paying for it. I've been paying for it for 4 months. And he was like, yeah, well, it's part of the package. What are you gonna do? And I was like, well, I'm not getting it. Like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm not getting it. And he was like, well, I could. And I was like, it was this fucking guy on the phone. He can't do anything about it.
You need your ma to do it because your ma won't take no for an answer. Because I had a problem with my internet, and your mom's like, let me talk to them. I will get you fucking free internet for a year. Because like when I moved into this apartment, I got internet, and like Shaw's going, oh yeah, you can get the 300. Whatever, like the 600 speed internet, and it's available to me, and I signed up, and I got this big fucking Great American Challenge dildo looking modem, and I was like, fucking sweet, cool. And I remember sending a video to Chad going, I downloaded 18 gigabytes in a minute. Nice. And it worked for a week, and then it just stopped working, and I called Shaw, and they're like, oh, that internet's not available in your community, and I was like,
but it just fucking worked.
I signed a contract online and saying that I'd pay $35 a month for this fucking internet for 2 fucking years, and now it just stops working. So now I get. Oh wait, no, I'll show you guys different boobs.
Oh, wicked boobs! I haven't seen boobs in years.
These are has-beens. But like the last one were the sweet potatoes.
I'm down with boobs. I don't care what they look like anymore.
He wants those Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, he wants those
Fridays, buddy.
Buddy, you don't even know. You don't even know.
Eggs and ham, brother.
There was an awesome necro quote for you and that.
Cheers, bros.
And it simply goes,
Cheers.
I love tits. I don't give a fuck what size cup.
Nice.
Dude, honestly, it doesn't matter.
B-Web helped me with my internet, man. I got fucking such good internet for B-Web. He talked to them on the phone for like 10 minutes.
Dude, I talked to this guy while I was working, and he's just like, what we can do, and like I end up getting like the best internet you can on this end of town.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh yeah, we can do like half rate for 12 months, and I was like, half rate for 12 months. And I'd apologize to the dude personally every time I went on a tirade because I was at work. I was just like, 12 months for $20. This isn't your fault, and I know, and I'm sorry. But this is more fucking expensive than the contract I had where I had internet that worked good. The fuck is this?
Yeah,
he's like, I know, sir, I'll help you. And I was like, okay, well, fucking try it, because this is bullshit, man. I've been using this internet for fucking years, you know. Going the whole thing, he called me back. I was trying to fucking work. I talked on the phone for like 3 hours with this guy one day, and all I got was, yeah, okay, well, we'll give you $40 a month for a year. And I'm like, you guys fucking suck. I was paying less for 2 with better internet.
These fucking guys, man, honest to God, they're fucking criminals. Like,
I would like to go on record. I have never had this kind of a problem with a cable company since I've been living on my own, and I'm probably the last guy on earth that's going to have cable.
No. This shock fucking cable. Honest to God, they sent me. The guy was like, you know, I was like, I don't want to pay this connection fee. I'm already going to pay $120 a month. I don't want to pay a connection fee. And he was like, there's not going to be a connection fee because you're a new customer, blah, blah, blah. Or I know I had internet. He was like, you're a current customer. All this whatever bullshit they fucking feed you. So when the bill came, there was a fucking connection fee. And I called them and I was like, look, I was told there was not going to be a connection fee and my TV is working. And they were like, yeah, no, sir, there's always a connection fee. And I said, I know, but when I ordered the cable, I did not agree to a connection fee. Come rip this fucking box out and don't charge me. I don't want this shit. It was $60. It wasn't like break the bank, but it was enough that I was fucking pissed off about it.
Yeah, of course.
$60. Fuck. It's like fucking, it's a decent chunk of change. So the guy was like, look, sir, there's no way there's a connection fee because we have to send the tech out. And I was like, I don't care. Like I was assured not a connection.
Look, sir.
Yeah. And so he was like, you know what? We're going to review because we record all of our conversations. We're going to review we have you know, a folder of you. We're going to review when you ordered this and we'll get back to you. And I was like, yeah, go right ahead, man. And like, I got an email. Like they're going to review what they recorded because this call will be recorded for training purposes, blah, 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 blah. Whenever you're on those calls.
Yeah.
They were going to review the call when you ordered the cable. They reviewed the call. I got an email like 3 days later that was like, yeah, we're waiving the connection fee. Sorry. These fuckers tried to...
Yeah, of course. Of course, they're a big business. Criminals. That's what they do. Because there are plenty of people out there who are going to be like...
You agree to a contract and they throw an extra fee in after the fact. They hope you
want... Of course, yes. Shaw
cable. I'm using Shaw Internet right now.
Fucking capitalism, man. That's capitalism.
No, dude. It's not capitalism. It's fucking criminal activity.
It's robbery.
Well, and capitalism is, for the most part, criminal activity.
Yeah, but like it's like capitalism is like you sign a contract, you agree to the terms, I agree to the terms, we both are happy with the terms, and here we go. You give me money, I give you service. Not... you give me a little bit more money than we agreed to in the contract, and I still give you shittier service or shitty service that is fucking not the best. Like, are you kidding me?
That's like, honestly, that just sounds like to me like you're singing the North American blues. I'm hating on our continent right now,
fuck.
like big time.
Like, there's nothing wrong with capitalism. Capitalism, there's nothing wrong with it. But it's got so corrupt. That's the problem. Everybody.
Well, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with getting ahead. Like working harder and getting ahead, I agree with it in principle. I just don't agree with how like anybody who's got really ahead now has the fucking power that they exploit who's below them to continue to be ahead, because those who are below them don't really have a choice because they need a fucking paycheck.
Hey, do you guys ever like look closely at your credit card statements on like
I look pretty closely at those fuckers. I
try to look close. I'm not as diligent as I should, but I talked to them for like an hour on the phone, I believe yesterday or the day before, and I've got like balance protection insurance or whatever. But I don't recall ever signing up for that or them saying
that's on your credit card.
Yeah, it's like whatever it is on your credit. But they're not allowed. That is something that you have to legally agree.
Yeah,
to
but
them
you might have agreed to it when you sign up for the credit card.
That's absolutely possible. But I also read on the wall on the Canada Post or one of the fucking the National Post or whatever that. There's been people that have been getting refunds from the banks because they've been calling about asking about this, and they've been asking banks to show them proof, like written proof of when they signed the contract, or when they signed for this specific
really?
charge, and they'd be getting their money back. They'd be getting refunded.
Well, I
so
make
yeah,
the
you
fucking
guys should
call
look
then.
into that.
Because even if it's $60
I've already made the call. I've already made the call.
What happened?
It's like
some money back or
$40
what?
a month or whatever it is. No, I only called them yesterday, and they're reviewing my case right now. So I won't know for like a month.
Let us know, man, because
I might get a thwack of cash back. Yeah.
Yeah,
because it was very. When I read that article, I was really interested.
Here's another thing with your bank, right? Like if you have a bank account, they'll charge you a bank account fee, unless you have enough money in there that they just waive the fee. So
yeah,
that's like what the fuck?
Over $1,000 a month.
You should do it the other way around.
Yeah.
I understand why they do it, because they're using your money to fucking further their profits. But
well, yeah, all your money is invested for
in their bank,
their gain.
Yeah, I understand why.
Yeah, it's
but
not
like,
your money, it's their money.
That's where capitalism goes funny. It's like, you have enough money, we're not going to charge you to be in this bank. But if you don't have enough money and you need a bank because maybe you're going to get fucking robbed, we're going to charge you some money to put your money in here. And
see, that's bullshit. Like Katie had to force me. I had bank account, like a bank account, like, when I was younger and all that. But then it got to the point where it's like the fees and all this shit. Like I would get my check, I would cash it, and I would take all the fucking money, and I would just have it.
Yeah, I loved it because he just hid it under the middle cushion on the couch he lived on at my place, and he always got small denominations.
So sneaky.
10s, 5s, and that was it. So it was just
10s,
like
5s,
3,700 just sitting there.
So it's just like, yeah, you can stay here for free, Eric. It's fun.
What the fuck is this couch cushion so heavy?
I'm sitting there.
Katie had to legit force me to fucking get like a bank account.
Okay.
I was like, fuck that, man. I'm not giving them I'm not paying them to keep my money. How would I pay me to keep my money?
Yeah,
and then that way I don't use any.
I feel that, man. I went into overdraft on the island because I was like, I can still make it work. And they're just like, oh, we see you're broke. Here's like a $5,000 overdraft. And I was like, sick, I can pay my rent. Yeah. So that worked out great.
I have overdraft on my bank account too.
That shit off.
Yeah,
but you're financially responsible.
When I lived on the island, I wasn't.
Right? When I got back from the island, $5 of cash in my pocket and ate the tank of gas in a car that I fucking spent half my money on. That was not working. Rolling into town, going, yeah, 10 grand in debt, and I'm sleeping on a couch.
Dude, I dipped into my overdraft too when I lived on the island. That fucking place is
it's savage, man.
Cash.
Savage.
But
2 months later, I see all these articles about them thirsting for trade workers, and I'm like, goddamn, I was on site with the felt.
Bring cash. Dude, but at one point, like, what does it bother anybody else in this podcast that your money is just a fucking series of ones and zeros? Right now, like, it's just an electronic number.
It does, but on the other hand, I understand how the fucking, and I got to bring it back to North America. I understand how North America works, and I'm oddly okay with the criminal aspect.
But if shit
the way our system is, because it's like, what, and it's cliche to say it, what can I, as just me, do? It would be until all the little guys realize that the little guys outnumber the big guys, and then that revolution starts.
I guess, like, at the end of the day,
what is that going to do, though? Like, what are all the little guys going to do to change the bank? And
there's a lot more of us than there is.
Fuck shit up, man. We're start biting ankles. That's what we're gonna fucking do.
You know what? At the end of the day, like, if your money is ones and zeros, and I understand how that could kind of give you a weird, like, you want to keep it as cash because cash is it's liquid. It's there. It's like you can hold it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
gold,
like,
buddy,
they could just shut your bank account down, and you don't have any access to it.
That's the thing, because then it would be like, now I wish I was a fucking gun owner. Because I gave you, it would be like any everyday situation. If I gave you, Tyson, $100 of mine to hold, and then I come to you in X amount of time, and I say, hey, Tyson, I need that $100, and you say to me, well, once I hear the syllable once I hear W coming out of your mouth, It's fucking on, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna start choking you. Like,
Yeah.
you
It's
know
my
what
fucking
I mean?
money.
Like,
It's my fucking money. But if you're at the point where like the electronic part of banking is fucking broken down to the point where you don't have access to your money, your cash probably isn't fucking worth anything anyway. Because
yeah. I mean, if it's like post World War I
Is
Germany
cash
and the money
actually
is
worth
wallpaper,
anything?
then
Who decides what cash is worth? Cash is not worth anything.
they do. We had this conversation last week.
Cash is worth what
it's raw materials that are worth stuff like gold and wood.
It all goes back to
They are not.
It all goes back to gold, guys.
No, okay. First off, no. It goes back. It is just straight up like raw trade materials. Yeah. The only problem is we've like consigned ourselves to these business dealings like NAFTA, where it's like, okay, yeah, sweet. Cool, we got all these dealings. You know, like go down to southern Alberta and see all these wind farms. You know who owns that property and who owns that electricity and where that electricity is going?
Not Canada.
America. We sell oil to buy it back at a higher price. We're far down the rung of the leading fucking oil producer on the face of the earth, contrary to whatever the Alberta government will tell you about how we are the world's oil. We are not.
Yeah, but that dumb fucking...
I'm sorry, do we live in Iran?
Are we Saudi Arabia? Are we in Russia? Are we in any of these countries that supersede us? But we sell all our oil out and then buy it back at an inflated rate.
Dude,
like, the national trade... I'm slowly becoming more of a national isolationist. We should focus on making sure that we can take care of the people in our own country and then our surplus, not trade our everything.
Yes, it's not our fault. Yeah, and it's not our problem that we kind of won the birth lottery and that we were fucking born here.
Yeah, no, but absolutely. Also like a lot of the trade agreements that we're a part of aren't beneficial to us.
Yeah, well, I think in the long run, I think signed by provincial governments. Those would have been signed.
Just wait, because these fucking deals, dude. We have the water. We have the softwood fucking lumber.
We have the water that we
all the shit that people are gonna need.
Garbage.
Yeah, but like at one point, America's going to run out of water, and they're just going to come up here and be like, "Yeah, give us your fucking water."
So how long do you think you guys can go without
who's going to fucking stop? Who's going
to stop? We're too Canadian. We're just going to be like, nah, all right. Well, you take care of us, and they'll be like, whatever, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I really don't believe we would.
Sometimes I feel like Canada is America's like ex-girlfriend.
No.
Fucking, like, you know what I mean?
It's the other way around.
Kind of are because we had a belief system and they were just like, we're gonna convert to this new religion and go this way, and we're just like, no, man, like fucking monarchy for sure. Okay, well, like fuck you guys, and we're just like, all right, cool, we'll go burn down your house, and then we'll still sit around getting drunk and not giving a shit.
Like, we need to grow a pair as a nation, but we smartly, very wisely, won't put the money in the military to have a pair. And I like that. And I like that about our nation. We're not necessarily...
But at the same time, like there is a bit of the whole like, okay, how long could central Canada go without fruit? Because if we become an isolationist society or an isolationist nation, we're going to have to be giving up things that we can't produce ourselves.
That's true.
We're going to go to a lot of grains.
Fucking 2 months of sun.
Dude, I will give up whatever the fuck you tell me to give up. If I got to eat potatoes every night, then I'll fucking eat potatoes every night.
You see this now.
That's the Daniels thing.
But just wait until you have to eat potatoes every night.
Dude, I like.
No, I'm that type of person. That shit wouldn't fucking bother me. If you told me,
I understand. You can mash them, you can fucking fry them, you can
you saute them, you grill them.
You do so much with potatoes. I get the diversity. I get why they're so good.
But I grew up with like fucking
fry them. You can do all sorts of good shit.
I grew up with shit all. We ate a lot of rice. Okay, that'll cut out. But I ate a lot of pasta as well. I can deal with that. Pasta can be made.
It's food. The reason why I eat is because I have to eat to stay alive. I'm not one of those assholes that goes to the fucking restaurant, and takes a fucking picture of their fucking meal because
Me neither.
It's so exquisite.
No.
It's so exquisite. No,
but
it's like and we're done. Let's get out of here.
Look, I want to enjoy what I eat. I want to really like.
I want to eat because I want to be alive. That's
not me. I want to eat because I want to fucking like. Well, obviously I need it to live. And there's times when
go to like 2 restaurants in town. What are you even talking about?
And they're fucking great. Who the fuck?
No, I'm talking to Tyson.
They're great restaurants.
See, I don't want to live, but I really appreciate delicious food.
Say this too morbid.
And you know what? Sometimes I take pictures of it. When we were on the island, I took a picture of that goddamn burger I ordered, that $25 burger at Pluto's or whatever the hell it was. Because the bun was grilled cheese.
There's nothing wrong with doing that.
That was at Floyd's Diner.
Floyd's. Yeah, but I was taking a picture of the straight up excess of what I was eating.
Dude, man, how many times?
I ate the fuck out of it. I couldn't walk.
How many times have I been like, if you can finish that, I'll pay for it? And you've
the Salvage burger.
How many times? 3?
Like 3.
3.
I have been there. Goose, Katie, and I, after an early Bandits game, we went to the Dead Dog and we ordered. It was like 2 plates of like the fully stacked nachos.
I remember this now.
And back when the nachos were good.
Yeah. back in the outside times, and and you totally were like, if you guys can eat that, I'll fuck it. And we were like, fucking. It was. I remember being vomitous. Afterwards, we plonked those fucking nachos down.
You're not paying $26 fucking dollars tonight, though.
Dude, back then the nachos were like $13.
Dude, right? And they were stacked, and they had fucking mole sauce,
yeah,
and they were on the fucking giant tortilla, so
that.
you could eat the tortilla after. You, me, and Nige would smoke blunts and then go to the bar
and then eat those nachos. Oh man,
they're fucking good nachos.
Those are good. Yeah, like I remember always being like, if you can eat that, I'll pay for it. And then I was like, I never expected anyone to fucking eat it, and they did. I was like, fuck, I have to honor it. I don't have a fucking choice. Like, I mean,
you do have a choice, but you make the right one all the time.
Well, you're only as good as your word, right?
Legit, dude. You're definitely one of the most honorable people I know. You have bought so many meals because you didn't think us fat people could eat them.
Yeah, if you can finish that. Yeah, Floyd's, dude, fun fact, Floyd's that we went to, that I always went to when I lived there, and you probably went to a few times when you lived there, it doesn't exist anymore. There's a new Floyd's kind of in James Bay.
No, of course. Yeah, hoity-toity James Bay. Look at me.
James
I
Bay,
can afford a mortgage.
That's exactly what it was like in James Bay. Dude, I went to James Bay when I lived there. I fucking lived in that city for like a year. Like at that point, I'd already lived there for like a year.
Dude, they have 1-lane roads and traffic circles at every fucking intersection.
Dude, I
want to shoot myself in the face.
I was like, oh, fuck, there's a sweet breakfast spot. I went there for breakfast, and after I saw a bookstore. So I went in the bookstore, and like 3 old ladies in the bookstore were like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm looking at some books. And they were like, doesn't that seem like the wrong part of town for you? And I mean, I had like long hair and a beard and all this shit. And I was like, no, I live in the city. Like, there's no wrong.
Fuck your ass.
Yeah. And like, I went like in James, as soon as I fucking walked in there was like people looking at me. And I was like, look, I know I'm a goofy looking fuck, but like, Jesus Christ, like, fuck, like, I'm just trying to buy a book. I'm looking for a new Dan Brown book on sale. Like, I don't want to go pay full price. I want to just buy it at one of these used bookstores, you know?
Dude, that island is cliquey as fuck. And the whole time I lived out there were 2 people that I felt like there was a mutual respect with. And that was it. Like, that
place is cliquey as fuck. And like 80% of the people who live there haven't ever fucking left the island. So they have no clue what's going on in the rest of the world. And they don't give a fuck.
The 2 cats I know, like, yeah, they were from there, but like they were like Dina's good friends, and I met them when I moved there, and they were good people. Like, one of them's an old tile setter, the other one's a marine engineer.
The one guy I talked to, he was like, yeah, I play guitar. And I was like, yeah, cool, man. Like, but like, what do you do for a job? He was like, well, I'm going to school and I play guitar. It's weird. And I was like, are you 25? And he was like, yeah, I'm 25. I go to school and I play guitar. I was like, fuck, man. Like, do you realize that you're gonna have to get and he was like, yeah, but like, yeah, well, no, he was just kind of like alluding to the fact that like Victoria was better than the rest of the country, and I was like, but have you been to the? And he was like, well, no, I'm never going to, because why would I leave here?
Dude,
it's the best part of Canada. The whole island is like that. It's if you're born and raised on that island, holy fuck. God help me. Jesus Christ.
Going surfing in not Tofino, the more Jaspery one. Ucluelet.
Ucluelet, yeah.
Yeah. There in the outhouse that I went and put my wetsuit on, there was like, if you're Albertan, go the fuck home. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Whoa.
Wow.
Dude, guy, buddy, man.
If you cross that fucking border into BC, people are like, Edmonton, ugh. And you're like, well,
I feel like you would
because
say, like, if you're from Ontario, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, no,
I thought all you guys hated me. Like,
no, like, well, because
do you
your
guys
Leafs
take
family kind
Alberta
of
dollars?
do,
No, sorry, don't take Alberta dollars. Dude, it was rough. Like, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, man. I love that fucking
like
city.
50-50, awesome, and absolute garbage.
I would live in that city for the rest of my fucking life. I loved it out there. I didn't so much like the people were fine. Like most of the people were fine. It was just like you got a certain group of people that were just like so Vancouver Island that they were so out of touch with reality. It was fucking ridiculous. But for the most part, you know, like I love that place and I never would have left if I could have got a job that would have paid me fucking enough to live there.
Yeah.
I would still be there today.
There were two other people that were really nice to me as well, actually, that treated me with respect.
Like,
but for the most part, it was a weird place, man. Like it's beautiful and it was awesome, and like I had a nice basement suite, and there were lizards in the yard, and I could walk 10 minutes and watch fireworks every Saturday night and sit by the ocean. It was great.
It was beauty. But I don't know about you. When I got back to Alberta, I know I wasn't near an ocean. I know I wasn't near a beautiful fucking Victoria. I know how beautiful the city was. I lived there for 2 fucking years and I loved it. I got back to Alberta, and I was just like, I was standing in line, and I was just listening to the people talk. And I was like, oh, thank fuck. Like,
yeah, dude, I love those.
Like, what a beautiful province this is. Like, it's just like, it's my people. Like, I'm the same as them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not out of touch with reality. You know, like, we know what it's, you know, like, I'm not saying Alberta's the fucking be all and end all.
Oh, far from.
There's good people here, and they have good hearts. And
I feel that way when I go back home to like Toronto, and like I see someone, like I see someone fucking, you know, telling an asshole to go fuck himself. And I'm like,
thank fuck I'm in Ontario. It's good to be home. That's everybody's home province, though. Like, you just fit in, don't you?
Sure. Well, I mean,
I don't fit in most of Alberta.
Alberta has its merits. I mean, Edmonton is kind of like the little sister of Toronto anyway. I mean,
I like Edmonton.
When I go to Edmonton, I feel like, oh yeah, this is kind of like, you know, Toronto's like little, you know, fun, like stepbrother and cool, you know, and it's like,
see, I've never been to Toronto.
I feel like that about Calgary. I feel like Calgary's more Toronto.
Don't you even fucking talk about that.
No, dude, there's too much cowboy hats and plaid.
Fuck Calgary. That place smells like it fucking stinks.
There is nothing Calgary about fucking Toronto, man.
There's nothing
at least in my eyes.
Even their fucking driving sucks, and they're trying to get into
cowpokes.
Fuck.
Whoa.
Fuck Calgary.
I touched it.
Fuck that place. Let's talk about.
What part of Toronto did you live? You lived in Ontario for a while. Were you in Toronto?
Yeah, I was in I was on Victoria Park.
So you were in Scarborough?
No, I was like just a little bit out of Scarborough.
And you think? And
Kent Town, all
Victoria,
them places.
Well, yeah, I lived there too. But I lived on Victoria Park in Eglinton.
What about that reminded you of Calgary, man?
Not specifically, but like downtown Toronto. The cool part of Toronto. Well,
I don't know if I was, because I was on the other side. See, I was on Scarlet Road in Eglinton, so I was all the way on the other side.
Well.
But not. I mean, I guess I've never been to Calgary, but just from what I've seen,
you're not missing anything.
No, because I know people who live in Calgary, and I see the pictures they post, and I see
you're like
what they say and how they act, and like.
So when you see the pictures of Calgary, are you like, I'm doing the best not to vomit in my own mouth right now?
I just think, how many cowboys can live in this city with no dirt or horses?
Just because they got a shitty hockey team doesn't mean the rest of the city.
Dude, I extend my hatred of the Flames to the entire city. That's just how it is.
Take the hockey bias out. I went to a really cool, like, fucking Korean barbecue place where they have a fire pit in the middle of your table. You get to cook your own food. It was sick.
That sounds rad, yeah.
You know, Calgary is neat. That's the I've driven through there a lot. That's the one time I stopped, and it was a great time.
And it stank like flames when you got there. You got out of your car. You're like, What the fuck is that smell? And then it was the Flames.
It's the same thing about Winnipeg. Go to Winnipeg and actually enjoy Winnipeg, and that city's fucking awesome. It has a horrible stigma about how shitty that place is, but that city's got a lot of awesome culture, a huge underground music scene. It's got awesome art, and it's a wonderful place. It's got
90% of the hate of that place is because it's cold. That's
dude, the first time I was there, I took a bus somewhere, and I saw a chick hand her baby off to maybe the baby daddy, jump off the bus and start smashing this chick's face into the pavement. This was 11 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Rock and roll.
City is fucked. But
why is Winnipeg cool?
Because the music, the culture, the art. Yeah, well, at the time it was the Manitoba Moose, and I went and saw a game there at the new MTS Center, and it was sweet. Moose. But like, you know, every city has its shit parts, just like every town and every person and everything has its shit parts. You can't just dismiss a place because you hate a hockey team. It's ludicrous.
Yeah, when people say that they hate Toronto, if I ever hear someone say like, "Oh, like fuck Toronto," like Toronto sucks, I'm always like, either one, you've never been there before, or two, you went there and maybe you were an idiot and you had a bad experience.
You hung out on the subway.
Pearson sucks. Pearson sucks.
I've never been to
Pearson
Toronto.
is its own little fucking city.
Yeah. And it's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah,
the airport does suck. It's
I've never been.
How can you hate on a city that has so much culture, so much art, so much fashion?
The 401 is crap too. If you're on the 401,
hey man, 10-lane highway, brother. 10-lane highway, man. You find another one. You find another one in this country.
That's fair.
No, I'd love to go. I'd love to go one day to Toronto. It would be
the Hockey Hall of Fame is there.
Yeah, I like to go to the Hockey Hall of Fame. I like to see the Stanley Cup. I don't think I like the line. I got a problem with fucking lines. I don't think I'd like to go to the Hockey Hall of Fame just because how many fucking people in line.
Oh, look at me. I don't get to stand in line.
Well, you know, like, fuck what I'm paying. Like, how much does it cost to get in the Hockey Hall of Fame?
I don't know. I haven't been to the Hockey Hall of Fame since I was like a kid.
It's probably like $50. I'm gonna pay $50 for the privilege of waiting in fucking line for 2 hours to see a stand.
Also, it's underneath like a fucking big like off. It's not even its own entity.
Okay.
Like there's that one corner where like I think that's where all like the faces are. Like on the inside of the building is that really nice corner. It looks like an old wooden building. They got like the benches outside with like the brass. Hockey players, but to go in, you got to go inside like an office center and then take an escalator all the way down. So you're pretty much in the bowels of this office, and that's where the Stanley Cup lives. Yeah. Don't think like fucking Cooperstown or fucking wherever the fucking football Hall of Fame is. Was it like Akron or something like that?
Canton, Ohio.
Canton, that's it.
Canton.
Okay.
Yeah, don't think that. It's
not that. No, I like to go. Just because, Toronto it's like fucking huge, man. Like it.
Toronto's awesome, man.
All the shit.
Toronto's got everything you want and more.
Yeah, and I would love to go to a Jays game, just because I think you could go to a Jays game for like $45.
Man, if you fucking stand in line for
No. You get your tickets, and I'll tell you this. I used to go to Jays games, and I would spend about $44, and I would get field level seats just outside the infield.
Yeah, wow. Like it's great. Like a hockey game, it's like $400 for two of you to go. But like if you're in Toronto and you're like, fuck, it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon and the fucking Jays are playing today. Let's go down and see if we can go grab some cheap tickets. Even if you're sitting in the fucking nosebleeds in the outfield. Who cares? You're at a fucking Jays game. It costs you $19.99 to get these fucking tickets. And you can just crank beers and eat hot dogs all day. And it just sounds like a good way to spend a Sunday.
There's something about walking into like a ballpark, and I don't know if you've ever seen like a Major League Baseball game, but
not live, no.
Going into a stadium and you're in your concession area, and then you get to your tunnel, and there's like a little rectangle of fucking green, and then you just keep walking, and it's just this explosion of green. I
want to go to a ball game. I mean, I'm not a big baseball guy, but I would love to go to a Jays game. Holy fuck. That would be awesome. Good atmosphere. I've been to a bunch of hockey games in Edmonton in both stadiums that exist in Edmonton, and that's it. And I've been to like some games in Victoria with the minor, with like the CHL. And that's it. I've never been to any other really sporting thing. Like, and
go to a Jays game when the fucking Yankees or Red Sox are in town.
But I feel like the price would go up then, though. Is that not how it works?
The price will probably go up a little bit, but it's going to be full or over, at least half full.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a bunch of people from either Boston or New York there. I mean, the vibe is great. There's chit chat. When I took Katie and Tommy the last 2 years ago or whatever, and we went, and there was we were in pretty much like a Yankee fan section, which suited me fine. But there was a guy in a Jays hat, a couple rows behind me, and Judge came up to plate, and he's just like, holy balls. And I turned around and I was like, he is a monster, isn't he? And, right there, you're having this conversation, it's just, and that's what I love about baseball too, is that it opens it up to conversation, and to talk to the people, like in and around you.
Well, because it's 14 hours for a game to be over. So
it's not 14 hours for a game. It's about 3.5 of strategy.
Yeah. That's like the guy, the fucking pitcher's 16 minutes fucking before he winds up. He's fucking looking, and then the fucking batter calls timeout, and then you're waiting. And then the pitcher, he spins the ball in his hand for a while, and he looks at first base, and he looks. And he looks.
I'm on the edge of my seat as you're describing this.
And then he
looks.
On the edge of my seat. And then the batter calls timeout again, and then he waits. And that's no, but I joke, but. Baseball. I mean, I would love to go to a game.
Exciting.
I can't watch a whole game on TV. Really, if it was the playoffs, when the Jays in 2015, I think it was when Donaldson and who was the guy that did the bat flip? Fuck, I can't. Batista. When that guy, when all that shit was going on, I was fucking.
Aaron Sanchez, when his hands weren't covered in fucking blistered.
Yeah. And who was that? Tulowitzki, the third baseman.
Tulowitzki was 2015.
Shortstop. For third base, where was he?
David Price was on that team. He was on that team.
Yes, that's right. Because he was a huge acquisition.
That team was
David
stacked.
Fucking Price.
I remember when we got David Price. I was at work, and it was the fucking deadline. And I saw it flash on the screen because I always have Sportsnet on at fucking work. And I saw it flash up Jays acquire David Price, and Brady was working downstairs. So I go book it downstairs, and I'm like, the Jays just got David Price. He's like, really? Who did we give up? And I'm like, I have no idea. I saw that and I ran it down.
I don't even care. It doesn't even matter.
Who gives a shit? We got David Price. Of course, he still sucked in the playoffs at that time. But
I heard that he's considering coming back.
But didn't he sign a massive contract in Boston?
Yeah, but he sucks in Boston, and they want to get rid of him.
Really?
He's good in the regular season. He just stinks in the fucking playoffs.
He's not a postseason guy, eh?
No.
I think he's won one game in the fucking playoffs. And he, of course, was the big asshole afterwards telling the media, oh, you can't fucking say a fucking curse now. And it was dude, you shut the fuck up. Because if you're hiding behind your one win, we're looking at all your other stats, buddy.
Yeah, I remember that too. I remember watching it, and then I remember being fuck, they're going to lose. It was when the guy whiffed the throw to first base and Donaldson came around and scored it. It was extra innings, I think. I think it was extra.
I think that might have been 2016.
Okay, it might have been a different year. But I was watching it. I'm nah, fuck, they're going to lose this game. They're down by 1. It's extra innings. And then they whiffed on it. It was 2 outs and there was just no way they're going to win. And then the guy whiffed on the throw and it went over first base. And then Donaldson came around and he got the fucking, he scored the run and fuck.
Yeah.
And I was
big. That was big.
Holy fucking. It was the same as when the Raptors were winning out. I just kind of hopped the same baseball, basketball. If it's not hockey, I just kind of hop on the bandwagon.
Sure.
Both Toronto teams, because there isn't another basketball or baseball team in Canada. So you could argue that these two Toronto teams are Canadian. That's Canada's fucking team for those sports. Otherwise, if it's hockey, fuck every other team except the Oilers.
Well, there was someone in your family bloodline that was definitely either a Montreal Canadian or Toronto Maple Leafs fan. That's for damn sure.
You know what? My dad was
back
a
in the
Boston
original
fan.
6 days. You were fucking get out of here.
My dad was a Boston fan too because Bobby Orr played in fucking Oshawa.
Bobby Orr.
Yeah. No, my dad was a massive Boston fan because he was a big Bobby Orr fan and he loved how the guy could skate.
Old spaghetti legs, Bobby Orr, huh?
Yeah, fucking broken knees, Bobby Orr.
Fucking titanium knee, Bobby Orr now.
But yeah, that was my dad's team. He's a Chicago Bears, which is I don't know why fucking Steelers, one of those two. And he used to be he was a Bruins fan until like 1979 or 78 when the Oilers came to be 79, I think it was. Right. And at that point he was living in Edmonton because like my dad lived in Edmonton like during that whole fucking all of a sudden like he's like I remember like reading in the paper like about this new kid that they signed called Gretzky. And I remember being at like a Chinese restaurant in like Jasper Avenue in Edmonton. This is like in 1979 or something. My dad, he's like, yeah. And I saw like, that was the guy, that was Gretzky. And he was like thin as a rail, like smaller than me. And I went like, that fucking guy's not going to end up being shit. Like there's no way, he's so little. And so like he would see him around the city, right, at restaurants and stuff, and my dad would just be like, fuck. And then like over years and years as my dad was living in that city, he was like, yeah, well, fucking turns out I don't know shit about that because holy fuck, look what that guy did. That's awesome. But I think that was a lot of Edmonton was like, who the fuck is this little fuck? And it turns out he's the greatest hockey player to ever exist.
Yeah.
Well,
statistically,
until somebody beats his records.
You know,
offensively, he's the best player to ever.
Don't give me this bullshit about defense and offense. Don't you give me this bullshit. The whole game's about scoring more goals.
Mark Messier is the best overall Oiler of all time.
Holy fuck! I can't even.
Best overall Oiler of all time.
Get out of it. Get out of the chat.
What are you basing that off of?
Get out of the chat, Wheels. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say.
What?
No.
Best Oiler of all time.
What do you? Because hey, like it's no secret. I hate Wayne Gretzky.
All of the intangibles that make a good hockey player, Mark Messier had.
You're like evolving wild on Twitter, like fucking Valerie.
I'm like who?
Are you fucking kidding me? Holy fuck, Wheels!
You don't want to hear what I think of.
No, I don't even. I can't take you seriously now.
I'm taking you quite seriously, and I want to know why. Because I'm on board.
I'm gonna get a beer
because he has all the fucking intangibles that make a good hockey player: the toughness, the skill, the offense, the defense, the passing, the assisting, the scoring. He can do everything.
Because there are people who say that, like if Gretzky didn't have that supporting cast, that he wouldn't be the fucking player that he is. And look, like I can't stand him. I hate him. I hate Gretzky. I hate his face. I hate looking at him. I hate seeing him.
Gretzky is absolutely one of the greatest hockey players of all time.
Sure, absolutely. But I think he's a piece of shit, and I want to punch him.
That's fair. That's fair. You know,
and I'm proud to say that I pissed on that fucking statue of him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I peed on that.
The Wheels Blues podcast does not condone peeing on the statue of Wayne Gretzky.
Don't go pee because I'm lucky I didn't get caught. It was after what concert was it? I think it was after Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper, and we came out. And
speaking of a piece of shit, how about Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper? No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm sure they're fine.
Rob Zombie might be a piece of shit, but I think Alice Cooper is probably a nice guy. Rob Zombie, I feel like Rob Zombie can come off as like super pretentious.
Yeah,
like he looks like zombie like J-Lo. Like he wears like the fucking funny hats that she would wear. You know, and he's super talented. He's super, you know, he can move and shit. And then fucking, but you look at him, and you're like, how long? How many years has this guy been deceased?
Yeah.
Super talented zombie J-Lo.
That's awesome.
His fashion is so up to date.
Sir. Very apt, sir. Very apt.
He's too up to date in his like fashion and shit like that.
He's kind of like a gangster zombie.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, man. He's kind of like an OG zombie.
OG zombie. Yeah, a little bit.
So I'm glad I missed
he became
all that.
a director.
So what I was saying about Mark
I want to hear about a
Messier.
director. I don't want to hear about fucking hockey right now.
How about Mark Messier directing the offense and getting Wayne Gretzky all those goals?
He did win a Stanley Cup without Wayne Gretzky.
And the most powerful fucking hockey team of all time.
Twice.
How many cups did Wayne win after he left all those
without Mark Messier?
Other superstar hockey players.
The Edmonton Oilers were fucking stacked. There's no question.
So that's my thing, and I was just saying this. Like, do you think Gretzky would have been the player that he is if he didn't have Paul Coffey, Mark Messier?
Well,
you
could argue that about any player, but after when Gretzky went to LA, he still was fucking leading the league in points and stuff. Like
for like 3 more years, and then that was over.
Yeah, but he was like fucking 32 years old at this point in time.
Because when he went to LA, he had fucking he had good players on LA.
He had Robitaille, he had McSorley, he had Rob Blake, he had like
Kelly Rudy. Kelly Rudy's the equivalent of Grant Fuhr.
Sure,
Kelly Rudy was a good goalie.
Yeah, Kelly Rudy's a good goalie. Sure.
There's just no argument. Like statistically, it's proven. I don't even need to argue this point. Wayne Gretzky is the greatest hockey player of all
statistically, Wayne Gretzky. Statistically, yes. So, is Wayne Gretzky better than Bobby Orr? Is Wayne Gretzky better than Bobby Orr?
Yes,
because he's statistically.
yes, he is.
Is he? I don't know.
They have different positions.
I don't know, man.
So where do you want to draw the divide? Do you want to have different positions where we draw the divide or not? Because
I think the divide should be
Bobby Orr is the greatest defenseman.
You have to look at the other superstars of that Gretzky era, and were their teams like? Then you have to look at the stats of the guys that were on the Paul Coffey. He's like Mark Messier. They're gonna have good stats because Gretzky has good stats.
They have padding stats because of Gretzky for sure.
I only need to say one thing. If Wayne Gretzky never scored a goal his entire career, in which he scored like 804 goals or 894,
somebody had to score those fucking goals.
Stop.
He did.
Just listen.
Somebody had to pass him the puck.
If Wayne Gretzky never scored a goal in his entire fucking career, he would still be the guy with the most points in the NHL history.
Doesn't Yager have more assists than Yager?
Does he have the most assists?
Yes.
He has the most.
Really?
He has the most everything.
If he never scored a goal, which he scored 800 plus goals, if he never scored a single goal in his whole career until 1999, 20 years, he would still be the guy with the highest points in the history of the league.
Plus, how many points do you get for Andy Warhol painting you? Because that's got to mean something, right?
Wait,
that's like at least 100.
Andy Warhol did do it. That's right.
Right.
My thing is
I get what you're saying, Daniel.
It is cross era, but is Alex Ovechkin doing what he's doing with his supporting cast? When you stack that up to what Gretzky's doing, and again, it's hard to do that because it's cross era. And the fucking rules were different. Like I said, I was watching those classic hockey games.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were fucking dry humping each other back in the day.
And the goalies were crap. The goalies were terrible.
I got the stats right now. Wayne Gretzky, the highest, the guy with the most points in the history of. It might be a little different because Jaromir Jagr is now in here, but he's got 2,857 points. Okay, Jaromir Jagr has 1,921, and Mark Messier has 1,887. Wayne Gretzky has almost 1,000 more points than Mark Messier in his career.
I'm aware.
1,000.
I know. I'm aware.
It's not like he's got 100 more points. 1,000.
I'm aware of the stats.
Mark Messier played like 3 more years too.
I know all of these things. He played like 7 more years.
Mark Messier was a good hockey player. He's a little bit of a lunkhead, but he was a good hockey player. Okay,
you're calling the Lay's potato chip guy a lunkhead?
I'm calling. Did you guys ever listen to on SoundCloud the Stalking Connor? It was on an Edmonton radio show. But those Rogers commercials that came up when Connor McDavid got drafted, and Mark Messier had hey Connor, you got to see this and all this.
Oh, yeah.
Show him like Alberta and all this stuff and all this fucking shit glorifying Alberta.
Yeah.
There's a series called Stalking Connor where it's just like Mark Messier just being like, hey Connor, it's me, Mess, the Moose. Hey, do you want to take a road trip down to Mondare next week? And all this. Me and the boys are gonna have a sausage party down there. Do you like sausage parties? And and it's like, and it's just him leaving messages constantly on Connor. Hey Connor, I saw you scored like this goal. I'm so proud of you. One time I scored this goal at Rexall Place, but that doesn't matter. You would be like, amazing. Anyway, call me. It's Mess, the Moose. Call me Connor. Anyway, Stalking Connor on SoundCloud. You should listen to it. It's kind of aged because it's 2020, not 2015 anymore. But
it was in the outside times when
the outside times.
Anyway, I stand by my argument. Wayne Gretzky's the greatest.
Hey, look, he is, and it's for me. It's like I hate Tom Brady, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Tom Brady isn't arguably the best quarterback to ever play the game. Right, Wayne Gretzky is arguably the greatest hockey player to ever play the game.
He is arguably.
That regionally, post 1993, I think he's a piece of shit, and I have no time for that fucking pointy-nosed fuck. I don't even care that he's from my fucking province either. He's not giving Kingston any kind of a good name, I say.
Brantford, buddy, Brantford.
Whatever. Oh, yeah, that's right. The fucking Gilmore is from fucking Kingston.
Yes.
Yeah.
But dude,
Gilmore.
Who gives a shit about Brantford? I can't remember where the fuck he's from.
Dude, I bet you there's like a sign that says like "Welcome to Brantford, home of Wayne Gretzky." I
absolutely
almost guarantee it.
It's probably old and rotten.
Yeah, it's like faded a little bit. It's because, like, fuck, what the fuck do you think back? Like, what do you think Gretzky's got to do? The guy's been out of hockey for fucking 21 years. He retired in 1999. I'm just freaky that somebody born in 99 is 21, but that's besides the point. He's been out of hockey for 21 years. He gets paid by the Edmonton Oilers just to show himself at games.
What's his official title with the organization?
I think he's like a
Wayne Gretzky.
His
title is Wayne
OEG. I don't think he has anything to do with the Oilers. I think he's the Oilers Entertainment Group.
And his brother is still like with the organization. Right?
His brother is like a GM of the Bakersfield Condors.
I thought he was the assistant GM.
Maybe. I don't know.
For the Oilers.
He's down there. No. He's not the assistant GM of the Oilers anymore.
Oh, okay. I thought he was.
No. He's somebody else's. I don't even know.
The Oilers definitely take care of their fucking own. I mean, you guys can't get rid of
those guys, man. Fuck, you can't get rid of
that fucking early 90s team is pretty much your fucking front office.
Holy
pretty
fuck.
much, man.
That was the problem. That was for so long. And then they got that was like forever for like 20 years. That was the problem. And then all the fans were like, fuck this. So they were like, we better not hire. Like, they kicked out Craig McTavish. Craig McTavish was the GM the day they drafted Connor McDavid. The GM was Craig McTavish. He was the GM of the fucking team. He'd been the GM of the team for the whole year. And he was like, yeah, I'm never going to trade the pick and blah, 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 and like all this stuff. And then like the Oilers fans were like, oh, fuck, we can't fuck this up. It's a generational fucking prospect. We better not leave this to the old Oilers. So they fucking kicked those guys to the curb and they hired Pete Chiarelli.
For Office fans, I'm just going to jump in here. For Office fans out there, there's a great scene of when, like, after Michael quits and he starts the Michael Scott Paper Company, and then fucking like Dunder Mifflin wants to buy him back, and they're like, you can't tell them that we're going bankrupt, and he's like, I'm not going to tell them that we're going bankrupt. As they get into an elevator, and then of course the elevator closes, it opens up again, and he's like keeled over, like, oh, I'm going to tell him. I pictured Craig McTavish being like, I will not trade the pick. And then the elevator opens and he's like, I'm going to trade the fucking pick.
you know those fucking guys were thinking it. So they're
fucking holding it back.
There's no way. So I'm willing to bet that Bobby Orr, who I'm pretty sure is Connor McDavid's agent now.
Really?
Group, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Huh. Who's like, okay, look, guys, you got to get your fucking shit together because you're going to draft Connor. And like, if this old Oiler bullshit is going on, fucking no. And then so
I feel like Bobby Orr could have that low key, like fucking, I will fucking bust your. You will be like me. I will cut your career short if you fuck around with.
You'll be like my knees. Yeah.
He has this like nice exterior. Like he's always smiling. He's always happy. But once that door closes, Bobby Orr's gonna fuck your knees up.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that's why they hired Shirley and McClellan, which turned out to be a fucking massive mistake. The fucking both of them.
But they were proven.
That's
proven
why.
Coach,
that's why they hired
proven
him.
Executive.
You could argue Shirley wasn't that proven, and the majority of his things that he did that gave him the Stanley Cup were made by the assistant GM that was the interim GM before he was named the GM, which he then fired once he was named GM.
Right.
Which is the guy that signed Chara, which is the guy that drafted fucking Marchand, which is the guy that fucking drafted like all those fucking guys like Sagan and all those. I think Shirley might have drafted Sagan, but there's a lot of guys. I think it was Jeff Gorton. I think that's the guy that used to be the interim GM of the Bruins. That did
Jeff Gorton?
No, Jeff Gorton.
Gorton.
Oh, okay,
Gorton. I think he works for New York now. But anyway, I'm pretty sure Shirley coasted a lot of his life on things that other people did. And then he got the fucking other job, and then we got to see what he really fucking was. The dumbest fuck alive. The biggest piece of shit to ever work in hockey. Fuck that guy. I hope he gets a lot of jobs in the NHL again.
Just not with my team.
Well, I hope he gets a fucking job in St. Word on the street, that's where he is.
Like one of the greatest moments of being a Leaf fan was the day that the team, like I don't want to say bought out or whatever. The team used to be owned by the Ontario Teachers Federation. And awesome. What do the Ontario teachers give a shit about? Not winning a fucking Stanley Cup. They care about making money for the Teachers Federation.
They were around for the Gilmore years, weren't they?
They were around for a very, very long time, and it wasn't until I guess they sold, and then it was like then you have like Shanahan and fucking like Lou Lamoriello came in, and it was like
that was the start of it.
Like it all starts at the top of the front office, and that was one of my because we haven't won a cup in fucking
since 1967. I'll just put that out there.
Just throwing out numbers.
Yeah, no, it's not like I knew that.
So executives can change the game, and executives can change so much. But I always liked Peter Chiarelli. I guess as a Toronto fan, I always just thought like this guy's just a fucking. Yeah, this guy's just like a fucking man-eater. Like, this guy just fucking chews up teams and spits them out.
He was no good, man. He was no good at all.
The Leafs are just soft.
He was
the addition of the Leafs now. The addition of the Leafs now are fucking soft.
So how do you feel? The same with the Raptors too, man. The Raptors. I remember the Raptors. They got like Bargnani and guys like that, and I'm like, I used to talk to basketball fans and be like, why?
Why are the
Raptors drafting in the Eastern Bloc of Europe when we should be going to the hood and fucking getting some real fucking basketball players?
They're not wrong. They were fucking soft.
How do you feel about the New York Islanders being like irrelevant? And then they went out, like Doug Waite was the coach. Like they had a pretty decent team for whatever reason. I hear, according to whatever some players said, that Doug Waite was a pretty decent coach, but for whatever reason, like that was when Lou Lamoriello was let go by Toronto, and then who's the fucking GM right now? Fuck, I can't believe I draw blanks like this. I fucking know
what for Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto is Kyle Dubas.
That fucking hit. Yes, yeah.
Dubas. So Dubas was named the GM over Mark Hunter, and Mark Hunter was like fucked, and he was like the head amateur scout. He was like the guy that like drafted like Liljegren and Marner and like all these I mean, you have to be an idiot not to draft Marner, but that's anyway. So like
Marner's overpaid.
He is overpaid. So is Matthews. So is Tavares. They're all three of them overpaid. Marner might be
so long since I've seen Marner play hockey. I can't even comment on that.
So Lamoriello goes to the New York Islanders and he hires Barry Trotz. Barry Trotz just won a fucking Stanley Cup in Washington, and Ted Leonisis is like, yeah, we're not going to pay you for some dumb fuck reason. He just won a fucking cup. He knows all the guys. The Washington team barely changed that offseason. How the fuck did you not bring back the coach that won that team, that took that team? Anyway, for whatever reason, Washington didn't. And Barry Trotz, Lou Lamoriello went to New York Islanders, and fucking Barry Trotz went to New York Islanders, and that team shot to the fucking top of the standings. So how do you feel, Daniels, about losing Lamoriello, who then hired because you're not going to.
I'm kind of mixed on it because like it sucks because you had like oh shit like Lou Lamoriello, Mike Babcock, like all these fucking
highly respected
are coming in, but I also understand how sports works, and just because you have, I mean, especially as a Yankee fan, just because you have the fucking best team on paper or the best executives on paper doesn't mean shit, man.
I know, but I feel like they were closer. I feel like the Maple Leafs were closer to being a powerhouse back then than they are now.
Yeah, absolutely. The window is rapidly closing, if not already closed.
I know, and that's mental because, like, the Toronto Maple Leafs on
I think
paper
there's also a money ball.
I guess, I'm not against that Moneyball shit either. Like, I'm not.
I'm not against it either, but there's that scene where he fires the head scout, and then he walks into that room, and I think they're playing a video game.
Yeah, and he's like, "You're the head scout."
Yeah, and he's like, how much baseball experience do you have? And he's like, well, I played T-ball when I was a kid. He's like, great, you're the new head scout. I think there's a lot of that going on. Not necessarily in that manner, but
we all know
analytics rules the day, and I just think that in that case, analytics does not work. Like
I think the team that probably is the best suited off the ice, like in the office, is the team that merges those two ideas with like where the analytics ideas don't shit on the fucking I saw him good guys, and the I saw him good guys don't shit on the analytics, and they kind of just put their math and put all their findings together, and they figure out what the fuck they want to do. And like, so if you're the GM and I want a fast, skilled fucking hockey team, you need some scout. Like, your job is not to find them. Your job is to just determine that's the type of team, like with your coach, that's the type of team that we need to build. That coach wants to coach that kind of team. Then you just go to your scouts and you say, I want you to find me fast, skilled guys. And then you go to your analytics. I want you to find me fast, skilled guys. Work together. Instead of, because it seems like the analytics and the I saw him good old-timey hockey guys are always just butting heads instead of working together.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. Look, but again, like, look, how have we not even made like the Eastern Conference Final yet? Like, is what my question is like, and I think you just got to chalk some of that shit up to it's just sports.
Just sports.
Look at 2003. We had Brian Leach was on our fucking team. We had fucking
legend.
We had Joe Nieuwendyk, Gary Roberts. We couldn't bring home a cup.
Gary Roberts is probably the most conditioned in-shape motherfucker alive. Probably even.
But they were still playing that brand of hockey where fucking like a Gary Roberts could fucking be a big asset for you. You know, because he could run some motherfucker's face into the fucking boards, and you know he's going to take a 2-minute penalty and then be back on the ice again. Not like, you know, not the way it is now where...
You know what? The big problem with the NHL is that they call a certain game for 82 games, and then as soon as the playoffs hit, they call a different game. So it really doesn't matter. They call
old-time hockey in the playoffs.
So it really doesn't matter. You know, like look at what happened to Tampa Bay.
They don't even consistently call the same game.
No, they don't.
In the fucking 82 games, they don't. No, they call different games.
They for the most part, the 82 games are called within fucking, you know, a little bit of the same rule book, even though the officials are the most fucking crazy fucks. Like nothing is wheels. You're correct. Like it seems to be wildly inconsistent.
Yeah.
So then, but then. For the playoffs, it's like, here's a new fucking rule book, guys. And then so suddenly you've built a team that just won the Tampa Bay, the most fucking highest points in fucking 30 years in the league. And then you get bounced in 4 straight by Columbus. Like that's, I mean, you could argue this what makes hockey amazing is that anybody could win it. It doesn't matter how good you were in the regular season. If you're 8th place, and we saw this in 2006 with the Oilers, who just squeaked into 8th place, and then they beat the first place Detroit Red Wings. They made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. We'll just kind of stop talking about it there because it's painful. But, you know, like NHL is it's kind of neat that anybody can win it in the playoffs, but I don't really like the way that it's 2 different games. Like, either call the playoffs the whole year and allow all the bullshit, which I think that they shouldn't, or do it the other way around. I think they should let the skill thrive, and I think you'd see Toronto kind of take off at that point in time, as if once they hit the playoffs, they didn't let all the fucking bloody murder go that they let go in the playoffs. That's why Toronto can't get out of the first round. It's because they have a team built with speed and skill that, you know, they get like third or second in the Atlantic Conference, and then come the playoffs, the NHL just changes the rules on them, and all of a sudden they're less effective because they're getting hauled fucking down, and there's no penalty, and there's no power plays, and you know, like, it's either be consistent or don't do it at all. Like, that's the problem with the NHL.
Yeah, very true.
So if the Maple Leafs, which are a damn good team on paper and a pretty damn good team in the regular season, want to make it in the playoffs, well, that's where you get the Gary Roberts and the Mark Messiers and all that kind of shit, and the Dave Semenkos, because I think playoffs are a funny business like that.
Yeah. I'm just fucking bitter. I've seen so many good Leaf teams. I've seen so many great New York Yankee teams not win a fucking thing, and it's just like, sometimes that's just sports, man. It doesn't matter who's behind your bench. Doesn't matter who's signing the check. You know, it's just fucking.
It's just sports, life. Man. It's just life, man. You can be the best at something in life, and life doesn't necessarily reward you.
You never go anywhere with it.
Like, Daniel Day-Lewis is the best actor of all time. But he's not. Okay, that's debatable. Fine, that's arguably debatable. Okay, fine, fair enough. I'll use your fucking hero, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is the best actor of all time, or living at the moment.
Correct.
He's not the highest paid actor. He's not making the most money. He's not the most popular actor. He's not the most well-known actor. He's pretty well-known, but he's not Tom Cruise or Will Smith. They are not considered the best in their field, as Tom Hanks would be considered probably the best or close to the top in his field. Life doesn't reward you if you're the best. Life is just life, man.
Oh, it does, but sometimes it fucking doesn't, and it's fucking bewildering how that shit happens.
It is bewildering, for sure.
At the end of the day, though, it's just a series of circumstances that whether you come out on top or not is just completely fucking random.
I feel like there's some, like, I don't feel like somebody, like, fucking, trying to think, the Kardashians, they didn't come out on top because of
any integrity or hard work or anything.
Yeah, like that's
well, they worked hard. I've seen the videos. A couple of them worked hard.
Most people making $50 million a year aren't working off of valuable assets to make that money.
They sell T-shirts with fucking like Led Zeppelin and rips in them.
Yeah,
fucking, you sell a $400 T-shirt that's just plain white.
Fashion designers. There's some fashion designers that are like billionaires. They make clothes, and I'm not saying that's not a valuable skill to have, but like, why the fuck is Gianni Versace or whoever the fuck of the Versaces is still alive a billionaire? Why? They make dresses and purses.
I don't know. It's like, look, stupid people pay exorbitant sums for stupid shit. That's why. Like it.
Well, I don't know. I just feel like life doesn't reward the best.
Look, you're gonna have a wedding. That's awesome. The whole industry is fucked up. Like, that whole industry is meant to put you in fucking 20 grand in debt or 30 grand in debt before you even start your life together to buy. Like, you should just put that into a down payment to a house and not worry about the rest of it.
We do the same to a lesser extent, is the thing. Like I've got a lot of actual art, paintings and whatnot on the wall. There are paintings that I've sat at silent auction for and been like, that motherfucker outbids me. I'm going to spend my paycheck on this fucking thing because I want it.
Yeah.
The difference is when you have millions to play with, it looks fucking shameful. But, like I've got a painting by my friend Carly that Shannon and I both really wanted, and we sat there, and we paid a few $100s for it, but it was something that we wanted. And because we could afford to spend a few $100s, I'm not saying these people deserve making $50 million a year being assholes, but like,
Yeah, but like,
if you had millions of dollars, would you not spend it frivolously on things that you like? Like Justin and I are prime examples of spending beyond our means. And stuff.
Yeah, but
I buy a lot of frivolous shit for sure.
That's a little different than having a T-shirt that's plain white that's fucking $400 and people buy it. Like, geez,
people buy our swag.
People have free will.
Following. Yeah. No, but if we
don't really buy our swag.
But if we get a following where people are buying our T-shirts,
yeah, people don't really buy it.
Yeah, but no, we're in the same fucking position. The only difference is we're not sitting there going, well, I don't have to worry about shit for the rest of my life.
Yeah, but we're not like our
T-shirts. This is supplemental income to people who are living day to day and paycheck.
They're not $400. No, but if we're selling if we sell like 500,000 units of our T-shirts, we're probably going to think about maybe jacking the price up a couple bucks.
No, we're not. We're just going to what we do in that position is that we start manufacturing our own T-shirts.
Yeah, dude, if we sold
500,000 a shirt and getting the fucking $20 to us.
Dude, if we sold $500,000 in T-shirts, that would be insane because we've sold like.
Well, yeah, of course it would be insane, but I'm just using that as an extreme example of like if we demand something, if we have something that's in high demand, then you charge accordingly for something that's
but like our T-shirts our price is set by Redbubble. We have
and realistically, I was only saying that as a counter argument to something that I don't have a counter argument for. I don't think these people that have no fucking skills or real like actual value deserve to be making money just because of who they are or what they represent. I think that kind of like fucking capitalism is monstrous and unnecessary, and it's one of those things that I hope a situation like this would change, but it's become inherently obvious that like greed
do you think
monstrous capitalistic it's going to change.
It doesn't seem like people are going to value our doctors and nurses and all that more than they value a fucking celebrity. It just doesn't seem like that because no one's joining a fucking.
I've heard that like people. I've heard people are even worse than doctors and nurses now. I've heard they're even worse now. They treat them like assholes because they're scared.
I hope to Christ that isn't happening in our country, but I see that shit in the States where nurses and doctors are like out there going like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, this is serious shit. And a frontline opinion, of course, is going to be biased because they're dealing only with the people that are dealing with this.
Yeah.
And everyone's got their opinion; they're entitled to it. Everyone has their position and their experience that they equate everything that's going through their lives to. And like we all have our own opinions about this situation, the way it's going and the way we feel about it and the way we're willing to bend the rules or act differently.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a tangent with no point. I apologize.
It sounds like
it's been a long podcast and I've had a lot to drink.
Dude, we've all had a lot to drink. I'm quite on the sauce, and I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
On that note,
let's do a shot. Is that the note? Let's do a shot.
Yeah, we'll do one more
shot. Goodbye to our loyal listeners, and then we can yell at each other a little bit more.
Yeah, fair.
Now it's time to say goodbye.
We hope you enjoyed.
I'll give you the blockbuster boobs this time.
Oh, yeah.
I like blockbuster boobs.
Yeah, I try to use a different shot glass every time.
You got a bunch of different shot glasses that got boobs on them?
No, this is the only one with boobs. Cheers, friends.
Okay.
Cheers, you guys. It's been a slice.
Cheers.
And thanks to everyone who listens.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially to this tirade that we were really just yelling
that was like
a bunch of shit. So if
people
who make it to the end of this and listen to this part of it, thanks.
This is the rant episode. This is like if you're a North American, don't listen to Eric in this one.
This is the Wheels Blues. The Wheels Blues podcast goes on a rant tonight. We all have a little rant.
Yeah. No, this is the Wheels podcast, allegedly.
So. Oh yeah, right.
Let's go with this. Corrected that, but you didn't 11. Need to point that
Glorious
out.
Leader, you don't have to answer to these guys.
You don't fucking keep saying that, man.
Don't even worry, Glorious Leader.
Man,
Glorious leader.
I don't need people. I don't need people thinking that I'm like certain other people. And
so, if anyone has a problem with any of our opinions spouted this evening, please dox Justin.
For all your emails to
Justin wants to yell on Twitter. Please do that.
Yeah, because his life isn't quite shitty enough, so let's make him feel real.
It is not. He is very bored and he will never work again. So please give me something to talk about.
All right, guys. This has been episode fucking 11.
Hashtag dox Justin.
Woo!
Of the Wheels Blues podcast. Fuck, we're glad to be here. My name is at Tin Can Blues. You can find me at Tin Can Blues on Twitter. You can find our website is wheelsbluespodcast.wixsite.com/my-site. Our blog will be up there. Our podcast will be up there. Our merch will be up there.
And eventually our butts will be up there.
That's right. If you put the Instagram link on, our butts will be up there. You fucking bet your ass. That's where you can find me. That's where you can find us. Follow the website. Follow the Twitter. Fucking let's go. We love you. Thanks for listening.
And I'm at Wheels. No?
Smooth.
Matt Squeed. SKWEED on Twitter. Wheels Blues Pod on Instagram. And Squeed Love on Instagram. But, like, God knows, you know. Again, if you made it this far, fucking A-rights.
Fucking A-rights.
And I apologize. There was like 40 minutes of sports talk that was just, God, that shit happened 50 years ago. Nobody fucking cares anymore.
Fuck we all. That's fucking.
Love you guys, though. Thanks again.
And I am at Eric_83, and I'm not sorry about the things I said about North America and the fat white people that inhibited. You're going to kill us all? Maybe. Or maybe not. Whatever.
Well, 50% of us are fat white people, but
I think it's more. But on that note,
Justin's legs count in the weight, or
no,
that's only 50%. If that's what we're counting, it's only 50%.
We're counting the top half. Sorry.
All right, glorious leader, what do you got going on?
And I am, as usual, Justin. I'm at Muddy Wheels and Justin Wheeler on Twitter and Instagram.
And what about our Facebook?
And I didn't get there yet, but thank you. And you can follow us on Facebook at the Wheels Blues Podcast Facebook page. And please subscribe, rate, and give us 5 stars. And as always, we love you guys, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Just tell them to rate us 5 stars. Don't even ask them to rate and then give them the option. There is only one option, and it is 5 stars. And
5 stars.
You motherfuckers who got to this point in the podcast know we deserve it.
We deserve all the 5 stars.
We'll talk to you next week.
All hail.
All hail.
I am making a silent protest.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.